Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
The Brewing Network Sunday Session is brought to you by Homebrewing Superheroes, the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them online at morebeer.com.
I want people to believe in me, and I want people to believe in me when they taste my beer. That's what it's about.
You mean you laid underneath it and tried to
put his tongue up the bung?
I like to actually scoop up the yeast and look at it.
7 o'clock came real early that next morning.
Yeah, man. Thanks for dumbing that down for us. You did an awesome job.
It's all about food and beer.
Punch me in the junk. Man, that thing was thick.
The point is just beat it like it's your dick.
I like to smell it afterwards.
Are you being sarcastic right now?
Bring your body armor.
I ran in my jungle once on a ball valve in a kettle.
That's a true happy ending.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Afternoon, boys and girls. Sorry for the late start there. Just the squirrel wasn't running fast enough on the internet wheel here in Pacheco. Usually our internet in Pacheco, like everything else, is stellar.
Well, because no one owns a computer.
Yeah, exactly. No one can afford it.
Or their own car or anything else.
Operator error.
It's true. It could be that. But I don't know. Everything seems... no, I see it. I see errors again. So here's the deal. You probably all want to tune in on the low bandwidth stream today. I don't know that I'll be getting the webcam up anytime soon. Just my bandwidth is being squashed. So I do apologize to live listeners. Hang in there. It will clear up. It's been this way all week. My porn has been buffering all week.
Nothing's more frustrating than that.
Yeah,
believe me.
You know, you're just about to finish, and then it buffers, like right at the...
You can't see those two guys finishing.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
You can come over and borrow mine if you want.
I got Comcast in one hand and my dick in the other, and I'm yelling about what's going on with my bandwidth.
Frustrated at both of those things.
Yeah. Exactly. They're both being squashed.
Yeah.
Both are too small. So I don't know, man. I keep resetting the thing, and I'll do my best to keep the show rolling for you. You podcast listeners, you don't care. You're going to get the same show either way.
Yeah.
You just got to hear me bitching about my small wiener and no internet. But,
the same thing.
Yeah.
In defense of your wiener, your balls are gigantic.
Thank you, Pete.
Wow. In defense of your wiener.
Maybe my wiener's actually big, but my giant balls make it look small, I think is probably the problem.
That might be the case.
It's all in context.
Yeah, me and...
seriously, weird sideshow big.
Beaver, how many balls have you seen?
No, I defer to Beaver on this.
Not a lot.
There's been a lot of ball showing.
I haven't seen a lot, but Justin's are a pair that I have seen, and sweet God.
Wow. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, look at that.
I don't think that's what she meant. I don't think you're supposed to hang down to an inch above your knee.
Whoa.
You're tall.
It is.
Old man
I am tall. Yeah, it is difficult.
She's
sometimes.
studying this too. This isn't
an old war injury.
In Bevo's defense, so that you don't think she's a whore, a lot of balls have been seen in this house. You know, Schumann does like ball puppetry, and Sam, Bevo's husband, his balls are no slouch either.
No.
Or they are a slouch, however you want to look at that.
They almost gave her a concussion the other night.
We've compared to see who has the saggiest balls, and that's, I think, where Bevo's information is coming from. Sam.
The saggy balls.
Yeah, the old saggy ball trick.
What a great start. Hey, Brian Hunt from Moonlight Brewing. Welcome back to the program.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. How come I don't get any beer on the show?
Oh, it's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, because you haven't shown your balls, I guess. As well.
Yeah, that's right. There's a key to getting in
Beef
beer.
the balls, baby.
We have our protocol.
If you can pick up your glass with your balls.
My favorite part about having Brian Hunt on the show, he brings kegs of beer. He doesn't bring, there's no like...
Here's a six-pack that I got from the store.
On my way in. Yeah.
Is this from the brewery? No.
See, I thought you guys drank.
You're right.
It'll be a long show.
We do.
Look, because a lot of times what happens when a guest gets here, we always offer them a hand. Do you have something to bring in from the truck? And usually they're like,
Yeah,
sure,
but I didn't
and we
want
go
that,
out
man.
and...
I heard about your balls.
That's right. Brian was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But he opens up the back of his truck and there was 50 kegs in it. It was a truckload of kegs.
That's his delivery truck,
Yeah.
I said, Brian, it's only a 3.5-hour show.
It's like, yeah.
He said, stop being a pussy, Justin. Grab a keg, let's go.
Looking around, I mean, we already have multiple glasses in front of us. It looks like the end of the show.
Yeah.
If you were to come in and go, I just missed the show.
Yeah, there's still 13 more kegs left.
That's gonna
Bevo, get to drinking.
Yeah. All right.
I'm drinking.
So we got a lot to get to today with Brian, and some good topics that I'm excited about. You may remember Brian on the show, I think it was 06. It was very early on in our brewcasting career. Thank you to Brian for enduring that. And it was a fun topic last time. Got people kind of riled up about styles, although they were kind of riled up on the program, Brian. I don't know if you know this. Within weeks of the show, though, a lot of those people did a complete 180. Anybody who was riled up and started writing in and saying, you know what? That Brian's onto something, and I really enjoy it. It's one of our repeat listen to shows, one of the shows that listeners go back to several times to really soak in, some of the things you were talking about. So we ended up just with this wonderful response out of it. And I'm excited about some of today's topics, which are a bit of an extension, but some new things too. And we're going to talk about using both traditional and non-traditional ingredients in your beer today. We're going to talk about something that Brian's passionate about also, where beer is kind of a representation of your local resources. What beer would look like if barley was native to your backyard, for example, and things like that. And Brian's just got some unique things to expound upon, and we can pick his brain about that.
Nicest way I've heard it said. Thank you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sometimes my bullshit really comes out nice. No, but I say it that way because you had written a short essay about kind of this philosophy you have, and I really enjoyed reading it, and it got me thinking. It's just we'll get to talking about it, but it's an interesting perspective to imagine if the ingredients that we use in beer were actually native to North America as opposed to being native to Eastern Europe and Western Europe. That these countries that we look to, I go to Belgium, and do I love that country and their rich beer history. And instead of us digging through Belgian beer books about their ingredients and their process and wanting to be a spy on the wall in the Trappist West Vleteren, what if it was the opposite? What if they wanted to be a fly in JP's brewery, for example?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them, so they're going to have to compete.
Yeah, hopefully zipped up.
And sponges.
And so it's just this unique idea that what if things were different? What kind of beers would we produce? So we're going to talk to Brian about that today. And also, if we can get to it, I hope, if I can shut up and if we can keep moving, growing hops and using fresh hops in beer, because Brian's great at that. He does a... Do you just do one a year? Because it seems like I'm always getting a fresh hop beer from you. I know that makes no sense. You can't...
I make one a year unless I make two.
Okay.
Last year was really pretty crappy crop, so I was only able to make one.
Okay, got it. And these beers are great. So we're going to talk about that. And you can send your questions in through to Bevo. Just hit the Chat Now button on the homepage. And you can also call in 888-401-BEER, as always. Yeah, I know. I'm getting messages that people have no audio stream, but as I said in the beginning, which I suppose you didn't hear because you had no audio stream, just you're going to have to tell them in the chat room there, Bevo, that we're just having internet issues and...
Go on the low side.
I'm working on it. Things look good from here. In some ways, they might just have to. You might tell them to close their media players, reopen them, reconnect, that kind of thing. And if the stream looks good for a little while, I'll turn on the webcam, and then you can get the audio from there too. So hang in there. We're just going to bullshit for 20 minutes anyway. You don't need to hear this stuff.
Yeah. Maybe you do.
Yeah, that's true.
Tell them that too.
What you do need to hear is that the BN Winter Brews Festival is coming up this coming...
Oh, yeah.
It's this Saturday,
6
right?
days.
Less than a week away.
Fuck, we got a lot to do in a week.
Yep. It's all right.
Oh, it's going to be a great fest. Brian's Beer's going to be there. Do you think you're going to make it down to hang out with us, Brian? You got time next Saturday?
I have no idea. It's
You don't
Saturday.
know.
It's a long ways away.
It's a long ways away. I guess you're right about that.
Something better might happen.
But we got some beer lined up from Brian Hunt, and like 40 other breweries, I think, are going to
A lot of beer
there.
Not counting homebrew.
Yeah, that not counting Tasty's Tasting Room, where there will be homebrew.
We'll have a dozen or more in there.
I do believe that More Beer will be home brewing.
That's true.
On premise, is that right?
That's correct.
Is John going to be there?
John will be there, but as a visitor only.
Oh, good.
He will be a consumer,
I
not
like that.
an educator.
All right. So come on out. You
Who's
can have
brewing?
beer with John Plisse. I haven't seen him.
Ryan, customer service. So if you ever call More Beer and you place an order or whatever, you'll probably talk to Ryan, and he'll be there, hopefully not burning himself.
That's true.
Oh.
Hopefully he's not doing that at our festival.
I was just driving over here, and you got some weird old houses in this neighborhood. And
What are you talking about?
I saw this old house, and I just look, and the garage was open. I look in there, and there's some guys brewing in the garage with a
no shit
with a B3 3-tier system.
Really?
I almost stopped and walked in there, but I had to get over here.
Shit, yeah. I would have let you be late for that.
Oh, they're just like right over there.
Let's go there. Let's just all show up.
Let's just stop the show. We don't have a carrier anyways. So.
Was it one of the
Nobody's
creepy
listening.
houses, or
Yeah, it was one of those old, probably 1920 houses that sticks out around
Just
here.
watch it. They're probably going to call in.
Yeah, and they just happen
We're
to-
listening, you
They just happen to have the
fuckers.
garage open. Oh, look, what's the garage look like? And these two guys in there, and this big 3-tier system right there in the front.
Like a 10-gallon, you think, or
yeah, at
5?
least, yeah.
10 maybe.
10.
Well,
And you have to do that.
They're actually making methamphetamine.
yeah, that's more
what the cops
likely
did.
that was a meth setup.
With a
Doc.
More Beer, with a brew sculpture, you can do it
was a
3
brew-
times.
It was a brew sculpture.
You can
times
do
as
it
fast?
3 times at once. You got 3 kettles.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think they altered the brew sculpture to be a meth sculpture. is what happened.
I saw almost just pulled over and walked in the garage. Hey, dudes.
Stepped over the dead hookers and asked what was going on in there.
It's a sketchy neighborhood. What the hell?
It is sketchy. We never tell our guests that, but
Oh no, no! It's almost a gated community.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the police cordon it off. That's
Yeah.
a gated community.
I thought it was a jail.
It's a little
Which-
compoundy.
Is kind of similar to Pacheco community.
Yeah,
Those are good vibes. It's
Yeah.
good to know people are brewing in Pacheco.
that is good. I like to see that.
happens everywhere.
Okay, so our Winter Brews Festival also has the great homebrew chef Sean Paxton, who I have on the line to tell us about the beer menu. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
We're doing great. Brian brought us some good beer.
You should be here.
He
Brian
wanted,
always has good beer.
yeah, he wanted to know what you were drinking in preparation for this little interview.
Actually, I'm drinking a little bit of Wit Noir from De Proof.
Oh, no idea what that is. We've never had it.
I tell you, you need to get to Belgium more often, my friend.
Or just your house. With,
Okay, that too.
with that beer cellar of yours.
I
Great.
tell you, I was cleaning it today, actually, in preparation. So
Good. So tell us about this menu. I talked about it a little bit last week, but you described these things much better than me.
it's going to be tasty, guys. We're really took the philosophy to really think about the whole concept of when you go to these beer fests, right? You get this food, and it's like, okay, for $10, you walk out with this gyro that's, 3 little pieces of lamb and little pita, and you're like, I'm still hungry. It was like an appetizer. So really wanted to do something radically different. And so actually on Tuesday, I'm actually going out to Hudson Valley Ranch, which is where French Laundry gets some of their pigs, and actually hand-picking 2 pigs, and we're going to slaughter them right there. Something I've wanted to do for a very long time. And
Slaughter them where? At our festival?
No, right at the farm.
Right in the parking
right
lot.
at the farm.
Not the farm, I see.
Oh, okay.
So
They
you're
have a mobile
gonna see it
unit
walking
that kind of
around,
goes up.
and you're gonna go, yeah, kill that one for me.
Nice
Pretty
Sunday.
much.
And that one, too.
That's a
But
mile.
we're actually going to feed them, or actually let them drink at least one Lagunitas brown sugar each. So it'll be like a little
You're
sacrificial
just
beer.
horrible.
Are you really?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
It's like a last wish.
That's kind
The
of cool.
last wish. I mean,
How
I feel
long
like
is-
it's only the humane thing to do.
Get them
Get 'em
fucked
drunk.
up before you kill them. I like that, Paxton. I like your style.
You like that? Just let them relax a little bit, and then we're actually after
Watch
we're
them
all
bleed
done
out.
dressing the animal, we're actually going to inject it with the brown sugar from Lagunitas. I was just over there the other day.
After you kill it?
Just after, yes.
Yeah.
And we're
Pop a
let it
cap in 'em.
marinate for about almost 3 days. And then when you guys get there, you'll actually see me with these whole huge pigs. They're about 130 to 175 pounds each, and that's dressed weight. And we'll roast these off. So we're going to have a lot of pig for people to eat. We're doing a real nice sandwich with those with some caramelized onions. That'll actually be caramelized in, let's see, that one's going to be the Lagunitas brown sugar, actually. And then we're also doing that with some nice spice rub kind of thing to play up all the seasons. And we're actually going to do that with Santa's Little Helper, or I'm sorry, Santa's Private Reserve from Rogue Beer. And going to be doing that with like a barbecue sauce and a nice Acme roll for $10. So you're going to
$10
for the low price of $10.
That's that's amazing.
So how long does it take to roast these little guys?
These are going to be about 4 hours each. It's a little fun thing. It's almost like a Cuban coffin. It's called a La Cachina. If you guys have heard of those, it's kind of like a portable, like almost like ditch that you have, but it's metal, and you kind of have the fire on top, and it kind of roasts and gets all crispy and yummy. And
wow,
I thought a Cuban coffin was Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba.
Different. And you're doing it right there. You're bringing these down.
We're going to roast both of them right there. So one will be ready about noon. So for that 1 o'clock crowd, we'll have a nice hot pig ready to go that we'll be butchering off, and then the other one should be done about 4 to 4:30, and if all goes well in the world, and so we'll have a great little feast.
Wow.
So, and then on top of it, I was actually, after last week's show, I got inspired to go up and see Vinny, and actually picked up 4 growlers of consecration to put 60 duck legs in and actually slow cook and confit, and we'll flake that out with some local pork belly that I have curing right now in barley, some DME and special salts and some other wonderful flavorings to go with some beans, and do a kind of a Belgian-inspired cassoulet, and all for $8. And then if you want some sausage and some other pig on that, we can actually up the price a little bit.
I do want some sausage, as a matter of fact.
And actually, I'm making a sausage just for Doc called the Crazy Dentist.
Oh, thank you, man.
It'll be kind of fun. There's no caramelized onions.
Are you guys going to ask, can I eat this stuff?
But there are a lot of.
I thought about you.
But there are a lot of little hard teeth-breaking peppercorns.
Yeah, I can deal with that.
That's why it's the Crazy Dentist.
Put some corn nuts in.
We're going to send some business your way after this fest, Doc.
Yeah. all with a can of soda.
It comes with and a card for Doc's practice.
And an IPA.
Yeah, it's actually on the wrapper.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it should be real fun. We're using Monk's Blood, the collaboration beer we did with the wonderful 21A. Maybe you've heard of the place. And we're going to do some dried figs infused in that beer and make some homemade sausages. Actually, the good old Jipper's coming over to the house on Thursday. We're going to get down and get funky.
Yeah, we're going to make wieners.
And make some sausage.
Yeah. They're going to play with their sausages. Yeah.
So we'll do that with some caramelized fennel.
Thursday.
Some nice and fresh sausages. And we're actually going to do an Old Jubilation beer mustard from Avery.
What are you calling Old Jew?
Homemade beer mustard. We're also going to be doing the Jameel package.
Oh, everyone likes that.
Yeah,
should be Jameel's golden parachute.
Like
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Actually using a Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale, and I'm going to mix that in with some local pig, and do that with some caramelized onions with the brown sugar, and then also a tasty wild arugula centennial hot pesto. Should be kind of fun. And then actually that one's going to be a Lagunitas Hairy Eyeball beer mustard to go with that one.
So it sounds like everybody has a dish, but Chad.
Chad is, he's going to be serving the Tornado Bar.
He'll smoked something.
Oh, all right.
Great, so we have the Tornado Bar cookie. That Cho chocolate
big
is
log garbage.
We got some great chocolate from them, and consecration soaked dried cherries, and a wonderful barley caramel, and be real fun, kind of like a brownie, but kind of all this other fun stuff going on in there, just like the Tornado.
Well, this sounds amazing. The beer chef comes to a festival. I love this. You don't have to. Get your exclusive ticket. Your dinners always sell out nowadays, now that you've hit the big time. So
I tell you, the crazy stuff. But, I really thought long and hard about this, and I figured, everybody's going to be there on Saturday and not necessarily Friday, and so let's just do it right and feed the masses. So we'll have food. I've actually been working with Jeremy over at Emergency Barbecue Company, and we got some real fun stuff planned for him, too, and both of us are really excited to feed all you guys, and we're going to have food. Each of us is about 800 people, so bring an appetite.
Now, JP started the rumor that he'll be your sous chef that day. Is that true?
He's going to be, putting on his whites. We're going to make him a decent man at some point yet.
Wow.
You put him in one of those funky hats.
You know he only works. He only works in like 35-minute periods. Then he has to take a nap.
Yeah.
Well, we'll work on that. I'll
contract.
just say like, look, this is like Warcraft or something, and
It's on a quest.
Think of it as a quest.
This is your quest to sell as many
quest to feed
wieners.
every female here. So.
He'll phone everybody in his guild and see if he can sell a wiener to him.
There we go.
All right. Well, this sounds great, Paxton. I really appreciate you getting involved, and I'm sorry you have to work with JP, but I think it's going to turn out great.
Hey.
I have no worries.
The pluses will outweigh the minuses.
Sean and I have done a good job working together, I think.
You are planning on staying up at Paxton's house that Thursday night, right? Because he's got a lot of beer to share.
I hadn't planned on it, but if it happens, I'll just go with the flow.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a heads up. He's pretty open to anything, Paxton.
Green light. I'm down for some reindeer games. What do you want? What's going on?
The reindeer games with all these winter beers. So.
All right. Well, Pax,
we're going to have to actually drink as we cook, JP. I don't know if you know that. That's how it works.
Could we get him lubed?
For sure.
You guys are going to be the drunkest two at the fest.
Hey.
I don't think so.
It was good when we made it.
Well, it depends if Brian doesn't show up. Then
then you will be. That's right.
No, so, come to the booth and let Paxton and I serve you.
Great.
And then
You've been served.
After every plate, I'm going to scream, "You got served!" right in your face.
I want to see that.
I'll be listening for
I really
that.
want to see that.
All right, Pax. Thanks, man.
Hey, you're welcome. Look forward to seeing you guys.
All right. You can see the full menu that Pax has written up over on thebrewingnetwork.com/on-tap, and probably on your site, too, right, Paxy?
Actually, I haven't posted it, but I just tweaked it a little bit more.
Cool.
Nothing's ever perfect, so I always go and tweak. And
All right.
So there's an updated one even from what's on your website.
Okay, well, send me the updates. We'll keep everybody posted.
I will do that, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
Hey, have a good one.
All right, you too.
Have fun with Brian.
We will. It's impossible not to, right?
Happy New Year, Brian.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you soon.
You bet.
How long into the year can you keep saying Happy New Year?
February.
Pretty much January 3rd, I think, is.
But you do it when you haven't talked to people yet in the new year. But some people you don't talk to till, I don't know, June?
No,
that's
till January 24th.
I'm going to do it this year.
I've got patients that see me and then they just, I mean, like, I just get, what?
It's July. What do you
Yeah, because I haven't seen them yet.
Well, we couldn't be luckier to have Sean Paxton on our side, and I'm real glad he's going to be making food there. It's going to be a unique festival, and that's just one of the things that make it that way. So it's Saturday, January 30th. It's this coming Saturday. Tickets at the door, $25 gets you a commemorative glass, assuming they show up, and 5 drink tickets. It's a 9-ounce glass. We don't like these 4-ounce festivals. I'm against them.
Are you going to bring the leftover B&A 4 glasses just in case we sell it?
I think so, yeah. And probably some leftover B&A 4 shirts. Yeah, so it's pretty cheap if you consider. And then after your initial 5 tickets, it's 3 tickets for $5. A lot of these beers are going to be pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Chad's got the list, but we're looking at some 10%ers on there.
Oh, yeah.
So, everyone's going to have a good time is what I'm saying.
You won't be shortchanged for that much.
Not at all.
I'm thinking you can come out with $30 and have yourself a pretty fantastic time and take a cab home.
Well, no, $45 because you need to eat.
Ah, that's right. And maybe $55 to $60 if you buy a shirt.
Yeah, so if you come in here with $3,000, you'll be fine.
Everyone will have a good time.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you've got the A ticket.
We've got live music lined up. Big Joe
That's
Hurt.
free, though, right?
That's free. You don't have to pay for that.
Free.
Big Joe Hurt's coming back to town. He's going to play.
Yeah, great.
Also, Schumann's cover band, Snapper, is playing.
We went and checked them out Friday night.
Snapper. You saw them at that MILF bar in Danville, didn't you, Tasty?
The Cougar Bar. Yeah.
I heard you had boobies all over you.
Yeah, I did. I was a lucky guy.
Man, why'd I stay home that night? I don't know.
All over me, I really did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Front and back at the same time.
Tasty.
And then what happened?
Guy's amazing.
Well, I can't tell you the rest.
Come on.
But it was fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Cougar Bar. Cougar Bars. The Cougars were there.
I was trying to list the bands. Sorry, I got on.
Yeah.
Started to think about Cougars, lost my whole...
Every time I think of Cougars, I think of Johnny and Schumann that one year at our anniversary show.
Oh, yeah. The two
Those
sisters?
chicks that just wouldn't leave them alone.
The two sisters.
Ah, that's right. That's right. That was at the anniversary party we did out at Downtown Joe's.
B&A 3.
And I was hoping that someone was going to go home with one of those
That
Cougars.
was awkward.
Well, because you blew it for him.
I did?
Yeah. Wasn't it you that...
Yeah, I think I said something on the microphone about the old broads.
About the Cougars.
Because I think Johnny was actually terrified.
That's right. They were they were trying to hide behind the set.
Yeah.
Behind the stage.
Oh, the memories. See, you should never miss a BN anniversary party, man.
Stuff happens, man.
Creepy shit happens every time.
I thought you said it didn't happen.
It didn't. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it will
Unless you
never
were
happen
there, then
again.
something happened.
Hey, maybe Shoelight will show up Saturday.
Yeah, is he going to play in any bands? Who else we got?
No, Schumann's band that's playing, it's a cover band, and they do, like, top 40 stuff. And
wedding stuff?
Like Oorah Room
No,
Tata?
it's like cooler than wedding stuff. They're fun and fun. And so, but no, Johnny doesn't play in that band, so he won't. But he'll probably be there.
He's dodged a bullet.
Running around.
Everybody will be there.
Running around. Everyone in the world is going to be there. Mm-hmm. Adam at Linden Street there. We're getting a lot of publicity for this thing. You know that we were in the San Francisco Chronicle today?
You know, I Googled it because I needed to know something, some little trivia about it, but I Googled it, and it was on, I don't know how many different things about this beer fest. It was in
it's everywhere.
SF Chronicle. It's in Celebrator. I pick one, so I just picked one.
Here it is. It's actually in the Sunday edition of the San Francisco Chronicle. It's probably our biggest press we've ever got.
Probably our only press we've ever got.
You got a glamour shot of Chad there or something?
People that I don't know at church, I have a really big church, came up to me and asked me about it today.
Really?
I guess they must know that I'm affiliated, which is
That's
awkward.
bad news.
Now you're in
That's
trouble.
bad news.
That's
yeah,
my kind of
but
church,
they're
though.
like, so I heard about Linden Street next week, and I was like,
Yeah, you're going to be there?
yeah, you
I don't know what
that's
you're talking
cool.
about.
The article reads, it's a new Winter Brews Fest in Oakland. East Bay Craft Beer Radio Company, the Brewing Network, has teamed up with Oakland's Linden Street Brewery to warm up their listeners' late winter blues with a Winter Brews Festival on the 30th. Festival will feature seasonal brews from more than 40 breweries, along with local crafted beers. That's you, Brian. And then he lists a bunch of participants.
That's some nice writing. Who did that?
And the food. Admission is $25. Here's my favorite part. Admission is $25, which includes 5 9-ounce pours. Tickets are only available at the door. And according to the Sunday session producer, Chad Mosier, are expected to sell out.
Whoa, that's good news.
Does anybody else think that Chad's a fucking jinx by just claiming right off the bat that we're going to sell out?
Yeah, it's obvious to me that people go, it's going to sell out, I shouldn't bother coming because I'll get there late because I'm,
late.
Yeah. I did have a nightmare last night, actually, that it was about 3 o'clock, and we were at the fest, and nobody was there.
And it was basically this room standing around the Paxton booth
and I
eating
was like,
sausage.
And the band's playing,
and
we're
I was like,
looking
come
at
on,
a dead
guys,
pig.
we better start drinking beer, because I don't know what we're going to do with all this.
It doesn't sound bad to me.
Yeah, well, it's
a real expensive party.
Can I get in line
you're really
again?
worried. That's so cute. Like, I swear I had that same dream right before my wedding.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So nobody came?
That I didn't send out any invitations.
Oh.
Like, I forgot, and nobody came.
Wow.
We'll be fine.
Were you still married?
Sold out, Chad.
I don't know. It
That's
might have been a
great.
nightmare, huh?
And then they go on about us a little bit, too. Brewing Network was formed in 2005 as an internet radio company to offer beer-focused news and entertainment.
There you go. That's what we should be. Beer-focused news and entertainment.
I wonder how many of those people are tuning in right now. Because the internet thing is all jacked up.
Too many at all. We have no bandwidth.
It's true. Anyway, I was
That's
excited
how
about
important
that.
we are.
I woke up this morning, saw that, and
hey, you've made it.
Touched myself. It was really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really good to see.
So it's a typical morning then.
Chad's excited. No, that's weird. You didn't wake me up for that.
Thought I heard something funny going on in there.
Thought I felt you.
Who's touching me? Oh, it's me.
All right, other announcements. Make sure that you subscribe and join the BN Army. Just, $2 a month gets you in, and it also lines you up to be available to win our More Beer monthly donation giveaway. Right? Is that what it's called? Something like that. The More Beer donation giveaway. $2 gets you in, and we give away all sorts of cool stuff. We'll be doing that starting next Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Do we know what we're giving away yet?
Yeah, it's a new product. It's called TBA.
Yes. It's a great new product that More Beer is working on.
I like that stuff. Rhymes with
it's good.
To be announced.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that. So just sign up, donate, helps us out. Also, buy Brew Your Own magazine by clicking the BYO link on our homepage, or you can go to byo.com/brewing network, and you get a subscription for the regular price of a subscription, but then they kick down like half of that thing to us, and so it's just a good partnership that we have.
Is TBA eco-friendly?
Still on the...
No.
Yeah.
It's not
Absolutely
eco-friendly?
not. Yeah, for every TBA you buy, one rainforest dies.
Perfect. So sign up and win your TBA next month. A whole rainforest.
A whole rainforest.
Pretty soon there won't be any rainforest left. You didn't get in
Aren't
early.
there only like 4?
I don't know.
Wow.
I didn't really think that one out, Justin.
It's great.
Okay. You want me to say that?
All right, you can find out about all of these updates via Twitter, twitter.com/Brewing Network, or go on to Facebook.com/Brewing Network, and you can find us there. I do have one other important announcement today. It's
we'll just decide what's important or not.
Sure. Well, it's about homebrew legislation. And,
that's important.
Well, that's why I said it's important.
Is it about California?
It's not. Well, it's already legal here.
It's about Doc.
Can we make it more fun?
Not that you ever pay attention to the laws, Doc.
No, if it's against the law, I want to do it more.
Yeah. But the AHA contacted me this week. Gary Glass is always trying to keep us up to date so we can let you guys know. And he wants to talk to you folks in Mississippi so that you can support your local brewery members as well as yourselves. The American Homebrewers Association is working with Raise Your Pints. It's a Mississippi and Mississippi homebrew clubs to promote bills both in the Mississippi House, which is HB 0732, and in the Senate, SB 2717, that would legalize homebrewing in Mississippi.
Oh!
No, that's right. There are only 3 states left that do not have that it's not legal to homebrew in anymore. And so we tackled one. And by we, I mean everybody but
else,
me.
Yeah.
Tackled one last year. It took 2 years, but it finally passed. And so now Mississippi's working on it too. So,
can I ask something here? For those of you not in those particular states that have problems, if you think it'd be appropriate to have like homebrewing legal in other parts of the country, you could actually, here in California or other states, you could write letters to representatives. I'm sure that online you can find who the representatives are in those states. And say, sometimes you guys have an image of being backwards. I hate to say that, but really, if you want to come up to where you want to be part of the rest of this country here, why don't you get on the program?
Yeah.
We have innovation here. You know what? It's bringing in new breweries because people understand beer. It's craft beer. We care about what we do. We make jobs. We make all these things. And you know what? How come you guys aren't playing along?
They're missing a big part of beer, for sure.
Yeah, so it's not just the people in those states. Everybody else. Write them.
You're right. You can go to capitalconnect.com, and that's how you can find the representatives in these different states. And send them a picture of you with all your teeth. I think that will help.
Yeah. This could be you.
Yeah.
Get a diploma, put a picture of that.
Yeah.
Picture of your
GED.
Yeah. All right.
You know what? Maybe all this attention to Haiti relief. What about Mississippi relief?
I agree. They need some relief.
They need relief. They need beer relief.
They don't have it so bad. They can marry their sisters there, can't they?
Yes, that's true. That's better than what we've got here.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Where
you can almost marry your brother.
Soon.
So House Bill 0732 and Senate Bill 2717. Additionally, they're asking you to support House Bill 0731 and Senate Bill 2243. You can find all of this you don't have to remember these numbers right now, okay? Homebrewersassociation.org. You can find these things. Go there and click on the blog button, and then you'll be able to find all this information. But those 2 bills are seeking to increase the alcohol by weight allowed in beer. So in-state brewers now have, I don't know what the limit is, but I think it's pretty low. And so this is giving them the opportunity to brew traditional styles with higher alcohol, which are now prohibited, so that you'll have more selection and brewers will be able to do their thing, be creative.
Yeah, but wait a minute here. Stronger alcohol beers are really not appropriate. Because we have wine that's like stronger. We have liquor that's stronger, but... Oh, wait a minute. So you can drink stronger things?
You can, apparently. As long as they're not malt-based. I can't believe you don't understand the difference here, Brian.
People can't handle it.
There seems to be a lack of logic here. I don't understand why that should be legal.
Cough syrup is stronger probably than most beers?
A lack of logic in government? Impossible.
In Mississippi?
Yeah. So... The bills won't make it without your participation, is the deal. And as Brian was saying, you really need to contact your state representative and senator of your district and just politely urge them to support the House and Senate bills. Ask if they do support the bills. It really doesn't hurt to call and say, hey, do you know about these bills?
Ask if they've even heard about them.
And ask if they support them. Because what happens is the Raise Your Pints group will make a list of which representatives do and don't support it. If you make some phone calls and figure out who they are, and then they know where to direct their efforts and to really try to sway opinion.
Actually, that wasn't what I said. No, I said if you're not in those states, you're in California.
Yeah.
Write them a letter.
Understood. Do it from here, too.
Because you know what? The people in Mississippi that are homebrewers, they're going to really thank you.
Yeah. Maybe they'll send you a homebrew.
Yeah. But I would make a suggestion. If you are in Mississippi and you're writing a letter, don't do it in your normal crown. Get somebody to help you
type.
Conjugate.
Type it.
Please also
Spell
contact
check.
chairs and vice chairs of the Mississippi Senate Finance Committee and the House Ways and Means Committee to request their support for the bills to be heard by their committee. So, there's a lot of different doors that these things have to go through to make it, and the more you can do, the better off. So, CapitalConnect.com, whether you're in or not in Mississippi, is where you can find out who the local representatives are, and you can get all the information about these bills by going to homebrewersassociation.org and click on the blog button. And there's a post there. It's the most recent post. Gary Glass put it up there, and all this info is there.
Blog still sounds like a dirty word to me.
It is a weird word.
It's dirty.
The blogs you go to are.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are. The blogs I
Underground blogs.
release are, too.
Decoction is on the line. I guess he has a question for us already. Decoction, what's happening?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How are you, man?
Oh, pretty good. It's cool being on hold because I can listen to the show.
No,
I know. I know.
I know. Yeah. Anyways,
We're working
on to the business. I was curious how I can calculate beer calories. I know it sounds gay, but I went to the gym the other day, and then I got home and drank like a barley wine, and I was just curious how much good I undid.
All of it.
No, there are only 8 calories in a barley wine. Normal beer is about 5 calories per bottle.
What?
Awesome.
Keep thinking
I like
that, man.
Yeah.
I like the Brian Hunt diet. Well, he's a slim guy. Maybe he's right.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 different kinds of calories. There's calories and there's man calories.
That's
So
true.
you probably had 8 man calories.
Yeah.
We call them Mallory's.
Cool.
Technically, I wouldn't worry so much about the calories. You probably did yourself some good by feeding your body back some carbohydrates. You know what I'm saying? You burnt them off there, and I don't know, man. It's hard to...
It was still better than just drinking.
We've always said here, we've done some shows, mostly when we were over on CBS Radio, where we talked about this stuff because we were talking to the general population and not just you beer guys. And the question did come up a lot about light, what does it mean to be a light beer and what the calories are. What we found out in the end was really just to have about a handful less of potato chips and you're fine. It's really the difference between, say, a light beer and a regular beer, like your barley wine or something else. Like the difference is really minimal. I would cut out other high-calorie foods if I were you, brother, and not worry so much about the beer. And I'm not just saying that because I love beer. You really could do the same thing by just, put down the goddamn potato chips for
Try
once.
the drive-through diet. Replace your regular fast food with Taco Bell.
Yeah, there you go.
Or just don't have cheese in the cheeseburger. Don't have the double burger.
Right, yeah.
I just don't have French fries with your burrito.
Yeah.
Now, are you a fat load? You're trying to remedy that, or are you just trying to get in shape?
I'm not the fattest load ever, but I like
known to be
I like
fat.
women. I like women, I'm not Chad fat. I am my own Chad fat.
I see.
But do women like you, is the question.
Chad's not fat. He's husky.
Generally, I've got a big beard and a beer belly, so, of course they come flocking.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Doesn't that work
JP.
that way for you, JP?
Well, I wouldn't say my beard is big.
Oh.
But my chin is huge. Well, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He's got more chins than a Chinese phone book.
All right, brother. Good question. I got to go.
Second question, quick.
Right.
How do I get an event put onto the events page on the website?
Send it to Chad at thebrewingnetwork.com.
Yeah, the fat load.
Well, first
talked about.
Okay, cool.
First,
I
Good luck
sent
with
him
that.
an email last week about the hop convention. I went to the hop growers convention, and there was a luncheon that was led by Brynildson, and he did a tasting with some stuff. It was pretty cool.
Nice. Anytime you can go to a Brynildson event, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I asked. He says he doesn't dry hop in the dark anymore. So
that's good.
He turns the light on because, it's easy to fall off a tank. I've talked to them. Safety is very important in breweries, and you need to really see what you're doing.
This is an
excellent
point.
And if those little guys fall off of stuff, they tend to beat themselves up pretty bad.
No one will find you in the morning.
You know anything about that, Doc?
We fall farther, but we cry softer.
All right, brother.
I got to
thanks.
get back to work, guys.
All right, later.
All right, bye.
He's got to get back to work.
Oh.
So do we.
I think that's it. Oh, one more announcement.
Yes.
Anybody looked at the speaker roster for the National Homebrewers Conference lately?
No.
I'm on it.
Why?
Really?
That's what I said.
What are you going to talk
I thought they
about?
always were looking for people that knew something about
I know.
home brewing or...
The committee contacted me and said, hey, Justin, Would you like to... they said my name. They didn't say Jameel. They said Justin. They said it clearly, so they knew who they were talking to.
What?
Would you like to be a speaker at our conference this year?
I thought it was pretty cool. I saw your script, and it's something like, I almost can remember it. I mean, I'm impressed. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, the bathroom's on the far left, and...
yeah.
Please hold your
something
questions
else
till the end.
besides that. Yeah, that's right. That was that, yeah.
It's true. It is just to be head usher, but I'm still flattered by the invite. You know?
Cool. You want a career in radio.
I mean, because last year Push Eject was head usher, and this year it's me. I'm moving up.
What are you going to be talking about?
Yeah.
Or do you know? And they just said, "What you got? You pick."
Wait a minute. You were talking last year, weren't you? A moderator or something?
I was a moderator. They see that they trust me doing it. People know I can do that because it's none of my own information.
Well, they must have done well enough. Now they're promoting you to
just keep from fighting.
Speaker.
Yeah, they are so confident they didn't care what I talk about.
Oh.
No, I don't know. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about.
You probably won't know until the night before.
All I will say is it would be wise of them not to schedule me at that goddamn 9 a.m. session.
On any day.
I like that they have to work around you.
Because you cannot make
Hey, I'm just being honest about my abilities.
You can stay up that late. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I would have to probably do it that way. And then my talk would be fascinating.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I was kind of excited about being on the roster. I can
I'm
see
holding
you
back
guys,
laughter.
I can see you guys are too. Just like all the support you gave me about my nomination to be on the governing committee.
We just don't understand either one. That's all.
Bunch of dicks, man. I can't even get support in my own radio station, Brian. They won't support
how I feel.
me.
Who nominated you?
Yeah, what the hell that happened?
And what are you going to speak about it, by the way?
It was probably an inside job. I don't know who nominated me.
What I think is that in this room, with all of the people who have such great knowledge of beer and brewing and other stuff,
should I turn your microphone off now or let you finish?
Blah, blah, blah.
It's very elegant. That's an elegant way of putting it.
Ooh, Bevo jabs.
She gets
jabs low.
I love you, and I mean it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should just turn off my microphone because it's just go down.
You'll see. I'll show you guys. I'm going to give the best talk at the conference.
Well, that's for the keynote.
I said that's great. I just want to know what you were talking about.
So you're going to have Doc write it? And
I don't know.
Everybody else is insulting your knowledge. I'm not. I'm just saying.
I don't know
what are you talking about?
Because Brian hasn't finished my outline yet, so I'm not sure what the...
I think it's in front of us.
I want to know who is going to be in the next room speaking.
Yeah, what's the alternate track?
Yeah, are you gonna make us sit in the front row and all in June Army gear?
Because I need somebody there to
plant questions.
I'm gonna start that slow clap.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my audio equipment so I can play like the applause and so that it sounds on the recording that
would be great.
That it's very popular.
Probably that weren't there. The room was
I'm gonna
packed.
sleep through it.
I'm sure it's going to be very, very popular.
You should just replay a Sunday show
and mouth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great if you went in there and said, okay, I'd like to talk about what if barley were native to North America.
Exactly.
Steal Brian's act.
Yeah, but I'm speaking there. If I'm ahead of you, you could look really bad.
That'd even be better.
Bring it.
It's just real simple. You have a couple kegs set up. I mean, what more do you need?
That's true. You can talk about it.
Works for me.
I know. Star Sand beer.
I can talk about that.
And you get a couple kegs of that.
See, think about it. I could do a what not to do session that would be very informative.
Yeah, but
there's lots of
over
things.
So yesterday.
It is.
We all know what to do now.
All right. Well,
that's very good. I'm very.
Thank you, JP.
I will be in the front row.
I appreciate that.
I got some
hopefully
ideas.
Not sitting in hairy gum to show you when you're talking.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Chad.
All right, well, not much to talk about other than the Winter Brews Fest going on next weekend.
What else is there?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So
great. We'll go to break then.
No, there's a couple of things going on in February. You got to get your entries in. Quaff, they're throwing a competition. Get your entries in by the 13th. Go to quaff.org and check out the info there. There's also a homebrew at the WEB competition going on in Michigan on the 20th and 21st of February by the Cass River Homebrewers Club. There's an AHA rally on the 28th of February at St. Arnold Brewing down in Houston. Say what's up to Mufasa. He's probably around. And then SF Beer Week, of course, coming up after the BN Winter Brews Festival.
After, of course.
After. And, I just want to talk about the Winter Brews Fest. There are, 40 beers, as Justin was saying earlier, but also some great bands, some great food, a lot of local Oakland folks coming out, some vendors, BMX stuff going on, fire artists.
Yeah, we
so
have
a lot
BMX
of really cool
people
stuff
there. I forgot about that.
Flamethrowers.
And fire people.
Fire.
So come out and check that out, if anything.
Oh,
I mean, it's
God.
pretty cool. There's a lot of good stuff going on with that, and should be a good time.
Okay.
And also, Tony from Lagunitas is going to come out. The owner of Lagunitas is going to come out and play guitar for a
That's
little
right.
while with us. So that'll be a really good time.
I'm excited about that. I've heard for years that Tony is a badass on that guitar.
Oh, yeah.
So
he can play.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to see it.
My dogs all just came in here like a herd of cattle.
Charged in like, yeah.
Stampede.
How the fuck did that happen anyway?
They broke out. Just all three of them at once came through the door. Just,
Bevo's trying.
I hate my life. You know, you can build a new studio, you can paint the walls, but you can't take the kid out of Pacheco and his ghetto ass radio show. Man. Thank you, Chad. You did a wonderful job. Chad's announcements are brought to you today by Brewmaster's Warehouse. You can go to brewmasterswarehouse.com, and we love them at Brewmaster's Warehouse. They have that...
Ed, right?
They have... Yeah, Ed, that's right.
Great.
They have that brew builder software right there on the website.
yeah.
You go through, you pick all your ingredients, it throws them into your shopping cart, and bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a homebrew kit.
I know kind of a techie guy who really likes it.
Yes, that's right. Pushy does do that. Okay, and one more thing I got to get to. I'll try to do it quickly. Let's do our feedback.
Oh my God!
You've got mail.
Kick ass. All right, feedback's brought to you today by White Labs Yeast Company. You know, you can go and join their customer club. They like it when you do that, and you get different awards and prizes and things by doing it. Plus, you get all the information on, like, their platinum strains, which I think are coming out right now, or maybe have already come out. So, whitelabs.com is our sponsor of the feedback. And it's a really quick feedback today, I think. G'day, Justin and crew. An Ozzy email came through. I just want to let you guys know I love the show, especially Can You Brew It? Tasty is a legend, they say.
Oh, wow.
A legend.
Sweet. In my own mind.
Yeah, and in the Aussie mind.
Huh.
I know you guys have a loyal
Which is a
listener
small
group
mind.
here in Australia, so I was wondering if you could give our local homebrew club a little plug. Sure, no problem. I run the homebrew comp. It is. Sorry, I run the Tanunda Show homebrew competition held in the Barossa Valley, which of course is famous for its wine.
Yes.
In March, entry's only $3. We're the largest homebrew competition after the state qualifying comp, and this year we're doing something cool. We've come up with a concept called the ANZAC Challenge. ANZAC stands for the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. And the term ANZACs was given to our soldiers during World War I. So we celebrate ANZAC Day each year in April. And we want to do our part to honor those that have fought for our country by encouraging local brewers to use all Australian and New Zealand ingredients. In the past few years, there have been several great new hop varieties to come out, such as Nelson Sauvin from New Zealand and the Australian Galaxy, which has really taken the Aussie homebrew scene by storm, he says. Sounds like a hockey team, doesn't it?
The Australian Galaxy.
So it's a new concept, he says, that to our knowledge no one else has done before, trying to get as many people involved as possible.
That's good.
Et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so there's your plug. So I guess look up ANZAC, A-N-Z-A-C, and the Tanunda Show Homebrew Competition.
Tanunda from down
Because he didn't
under.
give me a website or anything, so you're just going to have to Google it.
I don't think the web is down there yet.
You know, it might not be.
I think it's just post.
Okay, and last one. Hello there, beer tards. I've been meaning to write this for a while.
Thank you.
But I usually get too drunk and forget. I just wanted to thank you guys for all that you do for homebrewing. I've been homebrewing for almost a year now, and have learned almost everything I know from you shitheads. With the help of the BM, the BHEN, I took home a silver medal from the Dominion Cup in Richmond, Virginia.
Way to rock.
For my ESB.
ESB, that's
great job.
Do better next time.
It was my first competition, and I won at the ripe age of 21 and 2 months.
Oh.
Wait a second.
Must have been a young beer.
It's fast work.
I seriously couldn't have done it without all the beer knowledge and the ass hattery that I've acquired from the BN. Keep it up, boys and lady. Martin from Richmond, Virginia. P.S. JP should have won Douche of the Year.
Oh. Well, you know what? Maybe Virginia should have won Douche of the Year.
Good one.
Thank you.
Right back at you.
There you go.
All right, now we get Virginia, man.
And that's all I have for feedback.
That's
Okay.
it? Oh.
Well, now that Brian has a beer, we can take a break.
Well, he's all upset he only
not
got
even
half
a beer. Come on.
Well, now we're in the break.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
'cause
going to
you
go to
threw the
break. I'm going to check the internet again, which is not working very well. So most of you are going to hear all this tomorrow. It was a really good segment, too, I have to say, that you've all missed.
Which
Crank
one?
it up.
This one?
Yeah. Yes, this one.
No, I thought you meant last week.
All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to start talking to Brian about what's new at Moonlight. Got some different beers on the roster that weren't there last time you were with us. And we'll start on our main topics for today. So 888-401-BEER or hit the Chat Now button on the homepage and grab yourself a beer, too. You might need it. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Hey, Push, the new brewery's looking good.
Thanks, Finn. Piece by piece.
Well, let's fire her up. Whoa! Is that a new kettle?
Yeah, just got it brand new, but paid half price.
What? And that blade scale?
40% off.
The new tap handle?
$5 instead of $13. Got a new regulator for the brew stand, too, but $5 instead of $25.
Dude, where are you stealing all this stuff from?
Where else? The More Beer deal of the day.
Announcing the Beer, and More Beer deal of the day. Every day, a new fantastic deal from big items to small that will blow you away. Boil kettles, carboy carriers, sterile siphon starters, digital timers. Watch morebeer.com every day for a new deal, and you just might find the item you've been waiting for at a price you cannot believe. Hurry, because stock is limited on most items.
And that sweet Guinness cap? Let me guess.
The More Beer deal of the day.
Yeah, I knew it. Come on, let's brew something. Find the More Beer deal of the day at morebeer.com. Celebrity voices impersonated.
There's an app on the iPhone for just about everything, including beer. Apps for finding a pint of beer. Apps that look like you're drinking a pint of beer. And now, there's an app for brewing a pint of beer. Introducing BrewPal, the most all-inclusive beer brewing app for professionals and hobbyists that fits in your pocket and goes wherever you do. Recipe formulation that can be imported and exported with a customizable database. Mash and sparge calculations, yeast pitching rates, carbonation tables, and more. Available right now for less coin than a pound of grain. See BrewPal in action at brewpal.info and download it for your iPhone at a special introductory price right now. BrewPal, all the brewing software you need, right in your pocket. Are you suffering from the winter blues? Well, get ready for some winter brews, brah! The Brewing Network's Winter Brews Festival is Saturday, January 30th.
We just sat down and went, what do we want? And that's how we tried to plan this.
25 Bones gets you a commemorative glass, 5 beers, live music, and access to more than 30 of the hottest breweries around.
21st Amendment, Russian River, Valley Brewing, Magnolia, Firestone Walker, Uncommon Brewers, Gordon Biersch, Moonlight, Lagunitas, Triple Rock, The Brewery, Ale Industries, Drake's, Firehouse Grill, Speakeasy, Linden Street, Odonata, and more.
4 blocks from the West Oakland BART at Linden Street Brewery. Come enjoy the Brewing Network's first annual Winter Brews Festival. All the details are at thebrewingnetwork.com/on-tap. Replace your winter blues with winter brews. The Brewing Network's Winter Brews Festival. Great food, music, and beer.
Saturday, January 30th.
Don't miss it. BN Army members, are you looking for a discount on hops? Keep listening. Nico's Homebrew Supply at nicobrew.com has hops by the ounce and by the pound. Choose from varieties like Amarillo, Centennial, East Kent Goldings, Hollertower, Simcoe, Summit, Tomahawk, Warrior, Willamette, and more. And adding new varieties all the time, many for less than $20 a pound. Whether a couple ounces at a time or an 11-pound bag, all hops are shipped vacuum sealed and frozen straight to you. Nico's Homebrew Supply offers store-wide $5 flat rate shipping and won't waste your money on unnecessary overhead or advertising. They're going bare bones and passing the savings on to you. The staff at Nico's Homebrew Supply loves to brew and is committed to keeping homebrewing affordable and accessible to anyone who wants to join in this great hobby. And for a limited time, use coupon code BNARMY at checkout for a Brewing Network discount. Visit nicobrew.com. That's N-I-K-O brew.com for your hops and more. nicobrew.com, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
This is www.thebrewingnetwork.com.
Sit down next to it, grab yourself a paper towel, and watch those yeast have sex.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Okay, welcome back to the program. Boy, are you podcast listeners lucky you didn't have to sit through a 15-minute break with me trying to fix the internet connection. The show just goes on like there is no space or time for you. So, you're lucky people
just
out
happens.
there. Yeah, sorry for the delay, Brian. This drives me nuts. But hopefully you can stay a little bit longer and just do the show with us as we would anyway.
I heard you were already nuts.
That's true. A few more beers, though. I'll be fine. I won't give a shit.
Well, it might help me, too.
You know. So Brian is pouring us some nice beers, and that's kind of where I wanted to start with you anyway, because you've added some things to your lineup, and certainly to your creative lineup since we last spoke to you. Tell us about what's new at Moonlight.
New? Oh, what the hell. I'm always do something different. I think some call it ADHD. I'm not sure. But, if I make the same thing all the time, I go basically nuts. So I'm always trying to figure out something. I'm playing a lot with unhopped beers. It's kind of like, if you think you have everything settled, you think you understand everything, all right, we'll take out something you think is key and replace it with something else. It's like, that tells you how much you're standing on your own 2 feet.
Is that your nice spin on that there was a hop shortage and you needed to figure something out?
I can't say online even what I feel about some of the hop companies that are involved with that, but that did have some part of it, and some part of it had already been long seeded, a couple hundred years ago.
I do like this idea. You say, take out one of your integral ingredients and see if you can figure this out. It does say something about you as a brewer, or any of us.
Absolutely. It is what you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really easy to copy what else is knowledge out there, but then it's a whole lot harder to understand that and use that to be able to handle changes.
Right.
You take out hops. Well, okay, you sure as hell better understand hops if you're going to take them out and still make something that's, A, called beer, possibly B, drinkable.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent point. The absence of hops even gives you a better understanding of what they do, how they work, what you are now missing because of it.
Yeah.
So, and you have a few different beers, or at least a couple different beers without hops now, is that right?
I guess I've made 3 of them.
Okay.
Pretty much there's not much left of nearly all of them. The last chance you'll have to have some of them is, I think it's a Monday of Beer Week. I'll be in Berkeley at Bobby G's Pizza, and I'll bring the last of some of the ones.
Okay. You can go to sfbeerweek.org. There'll be a full list of them, so if you look up that one on Monday, then you can go down and
I haven't
join
seen
Brian.
it yet, but there's a lot of, it involves a computer and keys, and I have fingers that don't always, behave.
I see.
Even in large crowds.
Likes Beer Fest.
Yeah, what are you, a Japanese businessman now or something?
You know that too, don't you?
Yeah.
Damn.
So what are the names of these 3 that you've done, just in case anybody does see them out there in the ether?
Well, in sequence is Working for Tips is one of the ones that those of us here in the studio have been tasting. Working for Tips has the tips of redwood branches.
Oh.
It's kind of funny that someone said to me, how do you get up there way up high and get those tips? They think I'm at the top of the tree. No, the tips are the branches, the ends of the branches. Any conifer, any basically pine or evergreen, the tips of the branches in springtime will have different growth on them. And that's great for vitamin C if you're ever stranded, you're skiing in the backcountry and you got messed up. You can chew on the tips of the pine for whatever conifer trees. And
really?
And yeah, you won't get scurvy. I mean, you may die of malnutrition, but you won't get scurvy.
Broken leg.
Important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't want scurvy with a broken leg, right? It's just not much fun. So the tips have been used for actually millennia in beer. And I just happen to have redwood trees around the brewery because that's kind of the place I live. So that's what
Which is where it's basically, you're in Sonoma County, right?
Yeah, I'm far western Sonoma County.
Okay.
Or far western Santa Rosa, actually.
Okay.
Still in Sonoma County.
So you do have these literally right in your backyard.
Well, yeah, there's only like 2 of them to hang over the brewery.
Got it.
And you either trim them when you put them in the mulch pile, you trim them, you put them in your beer, and if I can save buying hops, then sometimes it's tough to decide these things.
So how really do you decide what to try, though? Was that just something like you just thought, hey, why don't I try these? Or is there some method to your madness when you're trying to replace hops?
There's a lot of meth. I drink a lot first.
Good.
Are you implying something?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I believe that, but you know what? I look at history first. And we'll talk about history of brewing at some point in the future here on this same show here today, tonight or this morning or whenever you're listening.
Yeah.
Because you're obviously not listening online because everyone else is shopping on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's not a plug for Amazon, don't get me wrong.
It's an internet shortage.
Yes, there's a shortage of internet, yeah. It's, I think, global internet shrinkage. So anyway, I look at what's historical, what makes sense to put in your beer. I mean, why should you put anything in your beer? Well, ideally, you put something in your beer that makes sense. You can put your thumb in. It's just going to make a warm beer. You can put weird herbs and spices out of your kitchen. I mean, if you like pumpkin pie, you can make some really cool stuff out of beer. It's not necessarily beer. Then again, I don't really, frankly, Justin, know what the hell beer is.
Yeah, that's a good... I knew you were going somewhere with that, because that's a good... well, you're right. Although, at some point, you have to... I mean, it's not a grape-based beverage, right? So that's not...
Yes,
I guess
right.
you know it's not beer.
That's true.
So does that mean, then, that it has to be... God, I was afraid we were going to do that.
I
don't want to be too esoteric, but...
Yeah.
I mean, does it then have to be a grain-based beverage?
Hell if I know.
See,
I only make the stuff.
I think maybe it does. I think
it does.
I think it has to be a grain-based beverage.
Whatever it is, Justin, I really want to harass you about what is it about this? I don't know, those of you that are not watching online, I mean, they don't even have any beer for us to drink while we're here, like, on the microphone, and I just don't think that's right.
Well, you haven't learned our shtick yet, because this is only... You need to come do the show more often. That we invite you so that you can give us beer. That's really the only reason you're here, Brian.
Yeah, but you're all drinking beer and my glasses are empty, so I mean, what does that say?
About. His glass is always empty.
Yeah.
And what does he have to do to get a damn beer around here? Whose leg does he have to hump?
I thought we have now strategically placed the kegs right next to you so that you won't have this problem.
Well, the microphone won't reach that far, so...
Tasty, get that man a beer.
All right, here.
You just turn that chair around,
or something that we think is a beer. I don't know what this...
He had a beer when he gave it to me.
A Reeb.
Yeah.
Going to rearrange everything now.
Yes, I gave you something strange.
Can we just put a tap here in the middle of the table here?
Now that I've moved some of the equipment, I think that it's...
And I'd like to ask, what kind of brewing network is this that doesn't have a tap in the middle of the desk, the table area?
Brand new studio, no built-in taps.
It's true.
Yeah,
and next week
really
is
have to
our
question
official new studio show, too. We've got a week to put in a tap.
A week to put in the taps.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about a single tap either.
It's got to be multi-tap
We've got a tower.
Yeah.
Okay, so at some point, though, you have an understanding of beer and what the traditional ingredients are, and then you start to deconstruct it and replace them with something else. So you I guess at least you're saying, or at least I would be saying, I'm going to remove hops. What do hops add to my beer? Well, the first thing, I guess, is bitterness to balance the malt sweetness. So you have to look for something that is going to balance that sweetness.
Chronologically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first thing is early in the boil, you generally add hops to make it more bitter. Otherwise, the word's going to be, the resulting beer is still going to have a sweetness that's kind of like a little insipid and not what I prefer to drink.
Right.
I do like bitter. There's something about it. And I think maybe what I like about it is it's not what kids like.
I'm not a kid anymore.
Oh, give me candy. No, I'm really not that big on sweet candy and stuff. I like bitter. I just freaking like bitter.
Same
it's
here,
like a whole different ball of wax.
Been married?
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. In fact, my palate has really changed over the last 15 years to I'm almost exclusively a bitter taste enjoyer.
How about bitter and sweet together?
Sometimes. But the sweet, for me, almost always has to be in moderation.
Yeah.
Well, let's take, if I may, for example, the first beer that I tried of yours today was the Artemis. Although I think it's is Gruit a beer? Is beer a Gruit?
Gruit's a style of beer. We're totally out of sequence, but I don't really give a damn because it's not my show and it doesn't matter to me.
But at least it gives me a place to ask you about this, about what you're doing here as you deconstruct.
Okay, this is not a Gruit.
Okay.
A Gruit actually has 3 basic herbs that have to be used, at least in my eyes. There are other people who probably disagree with me. That's an understatement.
Who would that be?
I don't know. The 3 basic herbs, in my mind, that belong in a Gruit One is Myrica Gale, sweet gale it's also called. It's an herb. It's part of a tree. There's actually a Myrica californicus, which I haven't played with too much. I've chewed on the leaves and probably find a place for it. It's just not as delightfully aromatic as the Northern European version. It's wild rosemary, which is not related to culinary rosemary. It's got some other names, and it's unfortunately not available here. There's actually also a relative here that grows on the west coast of the United States. But and thirdly, yarrow, which is frankly everywhere. I must warn you, if you read wild and healing and sacred and healing beers.
Mm-hmm.
There are some listings of yarrow, but a lot of people I've talked to that made a yarrow beer find it can put them on the dark side, or people have talked about people get in fights after having this beer. It's kind of a different kind of understanding of what things can do to you. We all take hops for granted, but if beer didn't have hops, and then we tasted a hops beer, we might actually feel slightly differently.
Yeah.
But you and I, and I'm thinking the rest of us in this room, probably don't relate to hops actually having an effect on us because it's just kind of something we're used to.
Right. We've built up our tolerance.
I think on strong IPAs, double IPAs, I do get an extra little bump from the hops.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Vic from the Bistro, puts on these wonderful hop festivals and double IPA festivals at his place. I talked to him about this, and he has the same philosophy. And in fact, I think I have him on tape as saying it was one of his double IPA festivals, and he was very serious and very happy to claim that the lupulin factor in those beers that day, he felt just made everybody happy. He said, this festival, I can notice the difference in people than, say, my barrel-aged festival, where we're not necessarily focusing lupulin in these different hops. So he really believes that it does have an effect on you.
Absolutely.
And as I'm drinking this beer, I'm getting really horny, Brian. I'm thinking that it's not that. But I was thinking that herbs and different things.
I know, looking at a bunch of us guys does that to you. It's not a problem.
Weird. But using herbs, historically, they were healing. They were used in medicines. In some ways, they're the basis for even different modern medicine.
Well, they're frankly just used in life back then. I mean, you didn't go to the grocery store and buy the huge diversity you have now. You had herbs that had a part in everything that you did in your life and everything you ate and drank and whatnot.
You went to Ook's tent and traded him some, skins
for some of his
some yarrow.
Thank you, Ook.
Moss.
Rosemary.
Right.
Okay, it's kind of interesting. Yarrow is particularly famous for having like the dark side or the fighting aspect or some things that I don't entirely understand.
Interesting.
Which scares the living daylights out of me to put in a beer that I put out there commercially because I don't want people to be broad-sided or, let's say, even combatant.
Yeah.
I'd rather have people know what it is they're getting into, which is why I've avoided that. I have about 20 pounds of dried yarrow in the brewery that I'm trying to waiting for the right use for. But
2012.
Yeah.
You should make a 2012 beer.
Just wait till
Where have you been? I already have.
Just wait till your neighbor pisses you off and you need it.
Sounds like Roger from Triple Rock. All he drinks is yarrow beers.
I had a yarrow beer at a festival, and it tasted like the guy put dried cousin in there. And I pinned him down, and he still said, nope, just yarrow in there. But it was delightful. It really was.
And did you feel high? Or you're saying just the flavor?
It's just the flavor, mostly.
I see.
And
it was on acid.
I didn't get combative, but...
Yeah.
You're always combative.
So you don't have yarrow in this
more
this
combative.
Beer,
No. I've been too afraid to use it until I understand it enough.
Okay.
That's just not
That's interesting, though.
responsible of me to do that.
Did you have any of the Gruit herbs that you've just mentioned?
No, actually not. I've not used them. I have 2 out of the 3 in the brewery. I'm just waiting for the right opportunities, and I haven't done that. So I've played with enough other things. But if you take something that you know is absolutely something you have to make a beer, you take it out, boy, do you understand what it does and what it doesn't do. And that's a really way to understand things, like I said.
Yeah. So... I'm not exactly sure how to ask you this question, but are you satisfied with the result? And I guess what I mean is, are you ready to give up on hops, or is this just an experiment?
Some of us in small breweries have contracts that we rather not talk about, that we have to.
We talked about it a little last week too when Vinny
pretty
was
much
here.
hell freezes over.
Yeah.
At prices almost like they ought to be illegal and suitable for a lawsuit. But we won't go into that, will we now? Because that would just be an emotional issue.
Well, we don't
But what are emotions, though?
It'll be a change for JP not to be having the emotional.
Don't get me wrong. I do love hops. I adore hops. There's, let's say, I do get a serious dose of hops on a daily basis. But that doesn't mean that's all there is to life.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to see what else you can do. Because imagine this. This is, some of us don't have a whole lot of sense of history. Some of us have went to at least public school. One reference I can use is the time of Columbus, 1492. Half the beer in Europe had no hops.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't that long ago. I mean, that was that guy in the boat.
I think Tasty was around then.
I think I might have been there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be curious. I want to hear stories later.
Yeah.
And the first hopped beer showed up in England in the year 1400 something or other. So, and it took a while to get that established. There was certainly a lot of resistance to that because that's another freaking, wrong thing to put in your beer. And then that brings the question of what is wrong to put in your beer?
Yeah.
Is it any wrong? Hops. Ugh.
Right.
Come on.
There was
what are you
a
doing
time.
putting hops in your beer? Is that any more wrong than some of the things I put in my beer?
Yeah. Do you know what they used hops for before then? Were they just a weed somewhere that was thrown away?
They weren't so much used. They weren't grown on the English Isles. They were grown on the continent. They actually, from what I can understand, seem to have evolved around the Turkey area and been found to be not so bad in beer and slowly eked into the rest of Europe and the continent, like I said, the British Isles, like I said, 1400 something or other.
Okay.
So, you know what? All this stuff is like, it's not something new. Like, oh, let's put all these weird, crazy things in our beer. No, it's not that this is actually really retro thing.
Okay. That's a good point. But we don't expect it anymore. So it is different to people, I guess, at the very least.
And actually, if you think about hops, it's kind of funny how hops came to be. There was a time in Europe when the Catholic Church had a monopoly and they sold the Gruit herbs, those three major herbs, as well as a few proprietary ones. And if you had a brewery, you wanted to buy at least those three critical ones.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really had a beer with all three, but I suspect, from what I know of flavor, they belong somehow together, and they each contribute something that makes, when the three are together, something just amazing and beyond their individuals. Yeah. So, from those three major Gruit herbs, then you added whatever you wanted, and it was more local or more to your taste. Should you have colas, and everyone has a different bunch of little weird things they put in your cola. Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, RC Cola, Shasta Cola, if those of you that are that old around here.
Tab.
We won't go there, but
RC was bad.
No, that's why you're so skinny.
Yeah.
So anyway, or meth. So it's hard to say what different herbs you use to make it, but you start from these basic three herbs. And part of that is you want to, oddly enough, feel good from drinking beer. Even better than without. And also part of it is you want to have some sort of level of preservation, which hops do today, and that's one of the major contributions of hops.
Yeah.
Is that they help preserve a beer.
Stabilize it.
Yeah, stabilize it, right. They kind of upset a few lactic acid creatures and some other ones. They go, we don't really like this. We're not going to hang around here. We're leaving. That's fine with us.
Sure.
So that's where you use hops. So use some other things, and they're antimicrobial, and your beer lasts a bit longer. I mean, anybody here, probably a lot of homebrewers, we've had beer that really we shouldn't drink because it's, pretty much flat out nasty.
Yeah.
So, you given that chance of drinking something that's absolutely nasty and ought to be flushed or was already flushed, and then you have a choice of drinking something with, maybe some hops or some other weird herbs, and damn, I could drink another one of these.
Okay.
That's a hell of a trade-off, and that's really going to skew history and progress to the ones that help you make a tasty beer that you're going to want to actually drink a second, third, fourth, 12th glass of.
Yeah.
Or if you're the guy making it and your beer's going to last more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't drink beer that's, out in the market more than 2 weeks. But
these guys out making beer in the medieval times, and after about a week, it's getting kind of nasty.
Yeah.
But if you throw some hops in there, now he's got 2.
Well, you certainly look at, you might be able to sell actually all those kegs, casks. Excuse me, they weren't kegs back then, casks or barrels. Whereas if it starts to get a little funky and you can't sell it because it's a little too funky, you can only drink so much of that yourself.
You start blending.
Yeah, you start blending, or you said, God, you know what? If I use these weird-ass herbs, it actually tastes tastes okay.
Yeah.
But, 3 weeks later, I can still sell it.
I can still sell it.
I don't know how many people here in this room or in the audience actually have money, have any relevance to their lives. Probably not very many people. But, if you're a brewery and you're trying to provide food for yourself and your family, trying to sell beer that lasts for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I guess I could see something there.
Yeah.
So in your case, when you're experimenting with these beers, or maybe you're just brewing these beers and going for it, I don't know your exact process, right? But so with hops, I can get out my recipe calculator and I can estimate the IBUs and how much bitterness I want compared to the malts. It's pretty well documented. With the different herbs that you're using in these, that you're adding some sort of contrast to the sweetness, but how are you measuring it? How are you deciding how much of a different herb to use?
Well, see, the problem is back in the, let's say, 1492 is when half the beer was hopped and half was not, although it's an arbitrary number. Their operating systems, they didn't even have Windows back then. You couldn't use some of those programs.
Right.
You laugh, but really, Windows wasn't developed back
Windows
then.
1408.
Yeah, that was really rudimentary, and it was not supportive to some of the programs today.
Yeah.
So you had to actually taste the ingredients. It's kind of an archaic concept. It's old at that time, but if you pay attention to your ingredients, with The Joy of Cooking is an amazing book. I met one person that couldn't handle the recipes from The Joy of Cooking, and she was Japanese. And perhaps it's just different sensitivities. I don't really know, but generally, Joy of Cooking, you read it, and it makes sense, and you can make the recipes in there. I don't know enough about some of the small brewing or home brewing books, but if you get a sense that's you understand what the author's writing, then it all comes together. So Joy of Cooking, part of it is there's a whole chapter, Know Your Ingredients. And really, that is the beginning of everything. If you don't know all the different varieties of hops, if you don't know what Munich Malt 20 does, different from Munich Malt 20, different from Munich Malt 10, or Biscuit, oh my God, then why bother putting these things in? Just because some computer spits out that you should add these things? Well, that's, to me, sad.
Shit.
Because if you taste these malts, and malts are really great, you can just chew on them.
Yeah.
Some of these herbs, you chew on them, and oh my God, you're shot for a week. Your taste buds are never going to taste anything else. But make tea out of these herbs, or seriously, like the first beer we had, the Working for Tips, has the tips of the redwood branches in springtime. I chew on them. I don't know how many people chew on trees. I assume it's really normal, but people have said some strange things about me. So I chew on the redwood trees at the brewery. And when they taste right, then I use them to make beer. Well, there's other herbs, that same sort of thing. The cedar that I use in the Uncle Fudd, same thing. I drive by these trees all the time, and I keep tasting them. When they taste right, then I have in my mind what I think they would taste good in the way of a beer. It's like you have this flavor in your mind, and you think, if this flavor would be in a beer, how would it taste? How would it taste best? What would that beer be like? So you're tasting this flavor, you're chewing on a branch and imagining beer and imagining this branch, and you're going...
And the neighbors are staring at you.
Oh, I try not to let people look at me. It's like
Brian loses his mind. He's chewing on the tree again.
Real good. No,
wear some pants when you're doing
the
that.
tree chewer's back, Mom.
The tree chewer's back. He's got no pants on.
Get in the house, Billy.
The damn video cameras.
America's funniest home video.
I can see. So I see where you can taste this, and the same with the malts, and I like the thought of envisioning it in a beer, but there's still a quantity issue.
Well,
I guess what I'm wondering is if you have to do small pilot, but a ton of brewing with it, because so even with the grains, right now I can go chew them and go, well, I love this flavor, I want this in my beer, but I still, because it's so well documented, can now calculate the sugar content I'm going to get so that I can get the right alcohol level, etc. You see what I'm saying? So here,
that's really amazing that we have these programs today. Promash, I think, and some other ones, because they're really ideally suited. It's amazing what we can do with computers to analyze all these ingredients, put them together, so if a computer was tasting a beer, it would make a beer the computer would want to drink.
Yeah, that's true. And I like my computer, and I trust its taste buds.
It's got good taste.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was wrong. You were talking about a beer that you want to drink.
Yeah.
Then why would a computer have something relevant to that?
Well, I think that's the premise of Terminator 4. Because Arnold makes a beer he wants to drink.
But, I guess what I'm saying is I still want to I want to be as educated as possible, especially if I'm a craft brewer and I can't, waste a lot of batches of beer. I probably can't afford to do it. I guess you have to have some standards, or I'm asking you, are you throwing these, these redwood tips in? You're thinking, well, a handful in my mouth is really goddamn strong. I'm going to try a handful in the beer, and are you just going for it that way?
All right, I'll tell you what. I gauge a lot of these. Let me back up. Kind of interesting thing I heard years ago, that we all count, even if we've learned other languages and we're living in another foreign country foreign to where we grew up, we always count in our original language. Now, it's kind of a strange concept. We live in the States, but we grew up in Europe or some other place. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. I can't repeat the language that I grew up with, but that sort of context, you have to think about where we are trained in these things. So a lot of what I do is I'll take a beer and compare it, honestly, or not a beer, ingredients, and compare it to hops.
Okay.
Because I'm more fluent in hops, and I can say, well, so many pounds of hops in 20 barrels gives me this. And frankly, I do a lot of my formulations in 7 barrels because I do a lot of my earlier brewing recipe formulations were in a 7-barrel brewery, which is now Downtown Joe's. Back then it was Willett's. And so I compare, if I chew on this, it has kind of the comparable bitterness or astringency as so much hops or so forth. The aromatics are pretty mild compared to hops. So I kind of do some multipliers and that sort of thing to get some relation to how I use hops.
Okay.
So if the aromatics are way strong, like the one of the later beers, the Oswego tea, that was so intense, I certainly use a lot fewer pounds for aromatics than it would have hops because they're so much more intense. Whereas the mugwort that I use for bittering, chew on that, you make a tea out of that, and you go, come on, a little more. Whereas you have the same number of pounds of even a Cascade or a UK Golding, they're just not going to have the bittering component anywhere near as small as you get from the mugwort. Okay. So I knew I had to multiply it by a few times to get the character I want to bite off and to contrast the sweetness from the malt.
Okay.
So really, I do some strange visualizations. I visualize flavors, and I don't know how many other people do that, as if visualization is the right word for what I do with flavors. If I have a flavor in my head...
What does it look like when you visualize a flavor? Does it look like JP, for example, if it's a particularly abusive flavor?
I have to do it in the dark, so I really don't know what it looks like.
Something from the early electric company.
I am best viewed in the dark.
So it might very well look like JP.
Well, at this point, I can understand that.
Yeah. There's some people who, they see in shapes. Or a number will be a color and a shape at the same time. So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah. So it's synesthesia. I can't pronounce that word.
You were doing
synesthesia.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's anesthesia.
After fewer beers, it would probably come out clearer. But you Google if you can imagine what that spelled like, and you'll find it'll say, "Did you really mean?"
Right.
Have you been drinking? It says. That's what happens when I go to Google and I misspell something. It says, "Have you been drinking?" And other people, apparently, it says, "Did you mean?"
It's weird.
I get, "Do you mean?" Hell no, that's not what I meant.
I visualize in tits. When I see a flavor, it's all a size, a shape, a skin tone,
quantity,
areola.
It's like a puffiness.
A cumin would be like a ski jump titty with a small nipple.
Because these are what I know, and I need to. Brian knows hops. I know boobs. And so this is my. But this is what I was getting. I wanted to know how you do relate some kind of frame of reference when using these new ingredients, because. Otherwise, like I said, you might be wasting a lot of beer, throwing away,
And like I said, I really do use just like my original language. I generally start to formulate from a 7-barrel batch. I make 21s generally. But I formulate in my mind, visualize how many pounds, make certain character of certain ingredients. I generally start with a 7-barrel batch because it's what I mostly learned on. I suspect most people listening didn't start.
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of recipe formulations as a 7-barrel batch. I did a lot of recipe formulations on other batches, but some of the more recent things that I want to compare to on 7s.
So you basically look at, this is bitter like twice as much Northern Brewer.
Exactly, yes.
And then you can pull it in.
And let me ask you, when you smell different varieties of hops, how else would you compare? I mean, I don't know, because this is only me, and I'm frankly pretty much on the fringe, apparently. How do you judge when you have a different variety of hop and you smell this compared to something else you've been using? You go, I've never seen this hop before, and you smell... Hopefully that worked on the...
Oh, that was smelling hops. Oh, I thought that was... Never mind.
Okay. Well, there's no video cam.
Well, that's good. Anyway, when you smell hops, and when you make it... I make a lot of teas from hops because you get different characters from them than if you were to merely to smell them.
So do you judge more on when you're tasting them raw or when you make a tea? I think making a tea would
you do both.
would pull more out of it.
All of it. And even if you make tea, you have to watch out for hops. It's very difficult to understand ahead of time. The different temperatures give you different characteristics. Right. I found 120 to 160 Fahrenheit when you make a tea is much more appropriate. If you make a tea higher than 160, you get a lot of astringency stuff. Well, now, if you're throwing those hops into something where they're steeping a long time, you're going to pick up a lot of that astringency, the tannins. But if you're throwing them near the end, you're going to pick up a lot less of that because I pretty much overdose. I use quart canning jars for making tea. It's pretty effective. They have big mouths because hops swell up and they're kind of a pain in the ass otherwise to get out of something small. So you try them at different temperatures, and you find that you get much different things. And aromatically, you're just smelling the hops themselves. They're very different than the results you get from making tea. So you have to balance all that. What you're going to get using different procedures at different temperatures and so forth. I came across a few varieties that I preferred making teas that I wouldn't have otherwise picked up. I tend to use those more in dry hopping. Frankly, Nugget's one of those. Pearlies is one of those. Golding's a brewer's gold. Have some pretty amazing characters as well. Some of the ones I thought would be delightful, actually, really?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have known unless you tried them in different situations. And instead of merely putting them in beer and aging that way, you put them in tea and you try them at different temperatures. You try as much information as you can get is as valuable as the information is going to play out when you finally make that beer, because some of us have to drink our results.
Does anybody else picture Brian alone on that piece of property where the brewery is, with like boiling cauldrons all around him?
He's walking around with a mason jar with something in it.
Yeah, I just have this image of like 30 different cauldrons of the fog is rolling over.
There's only one cauldron. There's only one vessel I have with the fire under it. But sometimes my intern Jeff will come in the morning and he doesn't quite complain per se, but he kind of. Maybe he complains there's no clean glassware, but he does have to clean up a number of glasses. Somebody once asked me in some interview sort of thing what my favorite beer ingredient was, and I said, a tasting glass. And but to be honest, you know what? Like I was talking before about the computer. If your computer is like the one that's analyzing your beer and going to drink it, then it is the absolute best. Computers, technology like that is exactly what we need. However, if you, in fact, me, or anybody else in this room, is the one that's going to be tasting the final beer, what is the best device that you should use to analyze the characteristics of that beer to find out if it's something that you personally are going to want to enjoy? And I'm guessing it's not, high pressure chromatography or weird ass expensive things that are in a lot of expensive breweries.
No, it's laying underneath the tap for me. I stay right there.
Well, see, I try to stand up.
Inverted
horizontal.
I think we
have a similar sort of concept. Yeah. And that's why, if you don't, I mean, are you tasting your wort? You're tasting the mash.
Yeah.
You're tasting the first words that come out of the loud, or the last word saving. And if you're going to add the last words, well, you better know what they taste like. Are they tasting tannic and nasty? Oh, God, I don't want that crap in my beer.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather dump that in add water later, or dilute it and add sugar if I have to have the flavors taste right. Because, frankly, I like to taste beer. And I assume the people that want to lay off $5 on the bar to buy a pint of my beer, I assume they really like the taste of beer too, instead of the analytical results that don't tell me what I want to know.
Yeah. But my iPhone doesn't have an app for all those tasting all those
Not
different
yet.
parts of the process, so I don't know if I could do this.
Now, Justin, take your iPhone. It's very important.
Yeah.
You do have the app for that.
I
And
do.
next time you're in the bathroom, take your app, take your iPhone, drop it in the toilet.
Right.
Then you go back, and flushing or not, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
You taste the beer.
Okay.
And you know what? What really matters? Does your
Save the
iPhone
99
matter,
cents.
or does your palate matter? If you're drinking a beer and you really enjoy that beer, do you think your iPhone would have a fucking clue?
I don't know. Let me ask Steve Jobs. I'll
Wait
get
a minute.
back
Can
to
I
you.
ask it
I'll send
one
an
more
email.
time? Because I don't think I enunciated that clearly.
Yeah.
If you really like a beer,
it's probably not mine.
It doesn't matter. Do you think your iPhone has a fucking clue?
I know
what tastes good. Do
No,
you think
but
all the?
I think the next
all
version will.
Yeah, the new BlackBerry Palm
Yeah.
Pre does though.
Let's give it some time.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to go. This Miller Genuine Draft. God, this is damn good.
Yeah.
All right, so you going to believe that app?
Yeah. No, of course not. And I love this philosophy of it's not even this, and I do it actually when I brew, very rarely. The tasting of every part of the process. Absolutely, my first runnings, my last runnings, and I can taste the tannins. I have turned it off because of that before, and you're absolutely right. This whole part of the process, where your palate is your best.
Some people think I'm just getting drunk, and I don't know what that means, but I think it's about
What is
important
drunk?
aspects of assessing the beer at every step of the process.
Yeah.
When you're looking for new ingredients, what do you decide is safe to put in there? How do you get a basis for that? I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there to taste. There's parts of this, parts of that, and there's things out there we shouldn't be putting in beer.
Yeah,
poison wise.
I tried strychnine.
Yeah,
It was
my gut up
extra
a little
harsh.
bit.
Yeah, no, I didn't like the flavor of it. I try to use things that are normal in nature in the sense that they've been used for things like the Oswego tea, the herb in the Artemis.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Oswego Indians used that to make a tea. It had particular effects. It's used some culinary aspects and a lot of herbal remedy sort of thing. It's normal. The mugwort involved in that, it's been used for about 1,000 years or so. in
There's a
ale.
lot of ones that I've heard of too. It's just that, somebody's got stuff growing outside and they're
Yeah, it's a good question though.
and they want to know, hey, can I put that in? And you taste it and.
Well, you know what? There's an internet for some of that stuff. Somebody interviewed me at the homebrew, I don't know exact conference name of it, in Oakland a few months back, and there was a little mention about the beer I had, the Uncle Fudd, that it had cedar, Western cedar.
Okay.
in it. So, oh my God, this might be poisonous. Yeah, if you look it up online, you'll find it does have a level 3 irritation to it, which actually, if you look up hops, is exactly a level 3 irritation.
Yeah.
Which means if you rub your arm against it, ideally the forearm where it's a little more
Or
sensitive.
some people are going to be more sensitive to it than other people.
I was wondering where that rash that came
Yeah.
from during the conference.
So-
I had that.
Yeah, there's things out there.
We're talking under the arm. But yeah, there's some things, basically, if they're used in food or in remedies. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have actually at the brewery some really gorgeous mushrooms, the beautiful red Amanita death caps.
Oh yeah.
I have not found it yet.
Red with
used
like
for
little
that.
white dots on them.
God, they're gorgeous.
Aren't they? Yeah.
They are really beautiful mushrooms.
Wow.
But I've decided I really didn't think they belonged in beer based
little
mostly
bit?
on the taste.
Who are you to make that decision,
Yeah,
Brian?
come on. We want our death caps.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Omelets. They're just so much far better than omelets.
Just a little, just give you an edge.
Small omelet.
No, I'll have that for breakfast and the omelet and then make beer after that.
Yeah.
All right, let me get us to a quick break, and when we come back, I want to ask about. I think that's a good starting point, and especially finding a.
Do I need a death cap?
Well, finding a point of reference. I think it's a fantastic answer that you were looking at things that have been used before, and that it's not some. You're not finding some rare pine cone that's never ever been used in the history of eating things.
How that would taste in my beer.
But I want to talk to you about local ingredients, and really, you do have a passion for your region, I think, Brian, and making that a part of your company and your beer and what you produce. So when we come back, I'd like to ask you more about that and maybe how us homebrewers can do the same all across the country. So hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back with Brian Hunt from Moonlight. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Do you support the Brewing Network? Do you brew your own? Are you looking for an economical, fun, and legal way to do both? Subscribe to Brew Your Own magazine and do just that. All year long, Brew Your Own will surprise you, entertain you, and educate you with articles on beer and brewing from authors like the Brewing Network's very own Jamel Zalashev and John Palmer. Each issue is a full pint of brewing techniques, homebrew stories, tips and photos, projects to make yourself, and recipes for the avid home brewer. Get your tough questions answered by Mr. Wizard, and polish your style accuracy with Jamel. A portion of every subscription goes to the Brewing Network, so subscribe today at byo.com/Brewing Network, or just click the BYO logo on the Brewing Network homepage and support a fantastic hobby and your favorite broadcaster. Brew Your Own, the how-to homebrew beer magazine.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Cut hours off your brewing sessions by using one of our 11 varieties of famous Williams malt extract. Our Williams Belgian Pale Extract is mashed with pure Belgian two-row malt and a small percentage of Belgian wheat malt for an authentic Belgian character you just can't get from other extracts. Or check out our unique fermenters, 2.5-gallon kegs, paintball tank-based draft beer equipment, bottling aids, and much more. We even have our own line of precision hydrometers. Go to WilliamsBrewing.com to browse our vast selection. That's WilliamsBrewing.com. Orders placed by 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time ship the same day. Brewing is easy. The Williams way.
Nico, listen, our lawyers said that we had to do this for 1 hour, and after this, we don't have to talk to each other for 3 more months, I think, to the next meeting.
Kids, come on, let's get out of here.
I'm supposed to have more lines. I'm the professional. Hey, it's Sully.
And I'm Nico.
And we opened the 21st Amendment 10 years ago at 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park, to make great beer and have a great time doing it.
That's right, because to us, the 21st Amendment is more than just the right to make beer. It's the right to experiment, to be innovative, and just do things differently. And so now, we're putting our craft beer in cans.
That's right, cans. You can find our world-famous Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer and Brew for Your Die IPA in the Northeast, Northwest, parts of the Midwest, and Alaska in cans and on draft. So next time you're at your local neighborhood pub or good beer store, be sure to ask for 21st Amendment in cans.
Because everyone likes it in the can.
Tasty crack cans.
Tasty crack can.
Have you ever noticed the pathetic look on the face of the Brewcaster poster boy? That's the look of a child that survives on ramen noodles and home brew. Subprime Meltdown doesn't even begin to describe what this kid has been through. He lives this grim existence for his army, the Brewing Network Army. Times are tough for everybody. It's like getting stuck in time 2 days before payday. Cash is tighter than a posted IOU stuck in a stripper's sweaty G-string. The unicorn's horn is limp and the rainbow has lost its color. But you can help change all that. If you were to take that sparkling change in your pocket and plop it on the table for the BN instead of that extra pint at happy hour, then the world could be a brighter place. When you buy a round for the BN, you buy a round for yourself and your fellow soldiers, and that's what it's all about. That and being entered into the reoccurring donor monthly raffle. So step up and start your own economic stimulus package. For just a few bucks a month, you can stimulate the unicorn, the rainbow, and a brewcaster. Hit that donate button just like you'd hit on that crazy bitch at the bar right after last call. You'll be really happy about it in the morning.
Hilo, what's it feel like?
Take awesome and multiply it by 2.
Spraying live beer radio all over your face.
Can't get any better than this, baby.
It's the Brewing Network.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
Radio does suck when it's not live, though.
Now we're just another podcast.
It really drives me nuts.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, Brian spewing gems over here and answering interview questions.
I've gotten some towels. I cleaned it up.
Thank you for that. It's not going out live. People are hanging in there, though. I think they're still checking in with Bevo every now and then. So the internet seems to be working intermittently again, at least. So you might be able to get some questions in by the end. And what's probably Chad's fault in some way, shape, or form. Right?
It's easy that way.
Probably.
It's just easier.
Chad.
Or Schumann.
Just get angry, and there's no way to release that if we blame Comcast. But at least if we blame Chad, we can totally treat him like shit after the show. You know.
Or during.
Chad, I'm going to have to make you drink
anyway.
an extra beer or two after the show because of this. You
Your
realize.
punishment.
Man, please don't do that.
Yeah.
No,
Don't
I'm sorry.
make me. Okay, now before the break, I said that we were going to come back. We're going to talk about sourcing local ingredients, but we're going to get there in a. We're going to take we're going to take the side streets,
the inner city,
instead of the interstate. I'm going to say the interstate. Yeah. We're going to take the get your guns.
That was funny.
Put on your flak jackets. We're going to take the inner city. We're going to take the side streets to there because I do really want to talk to Brian about he has just a great question and a starting point for this about what if barley were native to North America instead of Egypt and then the Europes after that. So Brian, you think about this a lot, I think, or at least you have, in terms of, to me, when you describe it to me, and I'm going to have you describe it to the listeners, but I can't help but think that some of life is just arbitrary. Right? So barley grows in Egypt. There you go. And this entire chain of events happens with the beverage that we know as beer because barley just happened to grow in Egypt as opposed to North America. And so that's what I mean when I say that sometimes things are just I happen to be born in America. I have a lot of opportunity, et cetera, et cetera. So here's this idea that you have. What if, how would things have changed? What would beer look like?
All right. Okay. So imagine barley pretty much showed up in Egypt a few thousand years ago, like 10 or 12 or something like that. And we started making beer probably about 8,000 years ago. So maybe that's when barley showed up. I can't exactly say. But let's imagine corn currently showed up on this continent, the North America, South America sort of continent. Granted, that's 2 continents.
Whatever. Americans don't care.
I mean, that's 50%. That's
lucky we know what maps are.
What is a continent, really?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's just say, for example, a slight twist of fate. Yeah. And corn happened to show up in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And we had barley over here somewhere.
They'd have no teeth.
Well, I'll tell you what. All that Italian pizza, it would be corn tacos.
Oh, yeah?
Can you imagine how strange that would be? That would just totally make a mess out of everything.
Yeah.
Now, it's been said, there's a great guy that's doing a lot of research. I want to say it's out of Ohio, but I'm afraid that's not right. About how beer has started society. Barley started society. Because if you're a nomad like most of humankind was early on, you're a hunter-gatherer. You hunt things when you're fast enough to kill them and you're not drunk, so, they can run slower.
Yeah.
And then you gather herbs, seeds, whatever you can find. Oh, that works great. Except barley, for some reason, doesn't make very good things to eat because all the little husks are stuck on there. You get stuck in your teeth. It's not that enjoyable to eat. Wheat is actually really cool to eat because it doesn't have husks stuck on it. But the problem is when wheat's ripe, all the little wheat kernels, the wheat berries, as we call them affectionately if you're an Oro wheat fan, they fall off on the ground and it's hard to pick them up one at a time. But barley, if you're a nomad, you come across a field of barley, the kernels are stuck on the shaft, and you can encounter them if they're a little overripe, ripe or so forth. So really, a lot of people, including this one professor, are saying that barley, and therefore beer, is what allowed us to have cities.
Okay.
Because once you have barley and you want to start making beer, because for those of you, anybody in this audience, in this room, have you had beer before? Raise your hands, please.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2,
Not in the last 10
3.
seconds.
Most everybody. Okay. Well, just not you. But
I had it in my hand. I was holding the beer.
I'm sorry, I missed that. And in the audience here, can I ask anybody here? Please raise your hand if you've had beer before.
Okay. There. Now we go.
Yeah.
I was busy holding my beer.
No, you're in the studio, not the audience.
It's good radio.
Okay. If you've had beer before, you know that it's kind of like a pretty kind of tasty thing. And, the things you would do to actually have another one. Imagine if you couldn't have another beer for the rest of your life. You would actually scale fences. You climb, cliffs. You do amazing things just to have another one of these.
I would.
Excuse me just one moment. This is what it's like. Here we go. This is, I don't know how the sound translates.
Go ahead. I don't like this topic anymore. You start talking about I can't have another beer.
I'd even get a personality.
Oh, my God. That beer was good.
No wonder Brian's so thirsty. He's always thinking about it.
Your last beer.
He wouldn't have anxiety if it meant he had to stop that for another beer.
Yeah, I'd fix a lot of things about myself.
Okay, so exactly. You'd fix a lot of things about yourself. And if you had any way possible to make beer again, if you had it once, you would find a freaking way to do it.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's imagine if beer was in North America. You could figure out, because, humans are what humans do, we would figure out a way to make beer out of it.
Yeah.
And then you'd have cities form around breweries because, my God, it takes some time to have a brewery, malt the stuff on a very crude fashion, make beer out of it. And why in the hell would you want to go away from that? Yeah, let's hunter-gatherer to a whole nother area. No, I'm sorry, the beer is here, I'm staying. You guys could go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, come on. How many guys would actually go? Yeah, beer here, or you could travel.
It's like going
we're
to
staying where there's beer. At least that's me. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I am a biased person, and I've been known to be on the fringe, Justin. My apologies for that.
Nobody knows that about you.
But I'm guessing that many people reading or listening to this would really appreciate that if there was beer living at home, they would try not to travel to find food and drink.
See, that's why I don't go out.
It's safe drink, too. I can drink beer and I don't get sick. I go hunting, gathering with you, and I drink the water. And
it's like going to the Tornado, and then your buddy says, hey, let's go to another beer bar. Why would you leave? It's you have 150 of the best beers in the world right in front of you.
With the worst weight. Never mind.
Shut up. Leave it alone.
Negative Nelly.
I thought it was
Those
the
poor
company.
mean bastards.
You told me earlier it was the company, but anyway. So, okay, imagine then the barley was on this continent,
right?
And corn was, let's say, happened in Europe. Excuse me, not in Europe, in Egypt, where, in fact, barley did originate. Corn would have developed through Europe as a starch source, a carbohydrate source.
Tortillas.
For those not people on the South Beach diet, and on this continent, you'd have beer. And frankly, this continent would be damn thriving if we had beer. You look at the sites of civilization on northern Africa, Eastern Asia, Europe, it's where there was beer, frankly, a lot of it. I may be biased in my take, but whatever. Okay, so we have beer on the Americas. How would that change things? And the answer is we would be making beer here, and Europe would be just a bunch of, natives running around in loincloths. But
I thought that's what it was.
Well, yeah, but they had loincloths and beer. I mean, I'm jealous. But, okay. So what would happen? How would we have beer styles today? Because this is now several thousand years after barley was developed. For example, barley showed up in the UK about 3000 BC. It's a long time ago. I can't actually remember that long. Some say it's my memory.
Tasty? What was going on?
What was going on there?
But obviously, why
I don't recall yesterday, so it's a problem.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay,
I can remember the 70s, but I can't remember yesterday.
So let's just say, for example, barley showed up in Mexico City. North America would have cultures, what we call today Native Americans, we would be drinking beer, and we would have beer styles. Now, what makes a beer style? I've been accused of being anti-beer style before, but that's absolutely wrong and misguided.
You have been, and I think asshole was used in the sentence, too.
That was polite. Yes, there was one other thing, too.
Specifically, that asshole Brian from Moonlight.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's look at history. Okay, what makes a beer style? And it's not just because Michael Jackson wrote about it, but unfortunately today, that's what we know to be beer styles. So let's look at what happened if we had barley here. We would have beer. And what would happen then, we would have beer and would we have other fruit, we'd have waters, we'd have so many different things would have made beer different in different places today. We look at what makes beer different as we know it today, having barley in Europe. There's waters, one of the biggest things. You have Pilsen. Oh, my God, Pilsen water. If you go to, which I recommend to anybody listening to this, which is, what, there's 10, 12 people listening?
15. We've grown since you were last here.
Excellent.
But they share a radio.
Oh, my God. Go to the Czech Republic, go to Prague and taste the beer, and you go, oh, my God, how can you possibly do this with such a pale, lame-ass beer? And the answer is you're dying because it's so freaking delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to Dublin. Yeah, some pretty amazing stuff in Dublin too. But
sounds
the
like
water's entirely different.
Well, they drink Budweiser.
Oh.
It felt like it, but it was actually beer. I've been told later.
Is that good?
I'm disappointed, but
I woke up, it was only beer.
Yeah, and Munich.
Yeah.
Munich is famous not just because it was the name of a malt. It was famous because the water helped make what it was. And all these things, water is one of the huge components in what makes beer styles.
Yeah. And if we had the barley here, we'd have the same varietals of water as well. We would also
different
be
places. We'd have our own, absolutely.
We'd be adding darker grains because it went better with that water. We would develop our own styles.
Exactly. And one reason why we would use darker grain, well, first of all, everything used to be brown beer. Back at a time when we really didn't,
brown
we as
and
humanity, we didn't understand malting as we do now. And so basically you make the stuff sprout and you kind of, cook it to pretty much death. And it turned out pretty much brown. Well, at some point, probably in about the 1800s, we understand there's ways to kind of cook it a little more delicately, and you can make some very pale colored malts, which oddly enough makes some pale colored beers. And if you have glass that's actually been developed, as opposed to pewter mugs or earthenware mugs, my God, it looks pretty damn good in a glass. So, I mean, I look at a glass of beer today, I'm looking at a few around this room, which I don't know why there's not more, but, a glass
How
of
many
beer.
more do we need?
There's
Jesus.
a lot of beer in here. I got two half ones in front of me.
I mean, Justin, you got the Smirnoff Ice in front of you, but really.
God damn it. His webcam's down. It's pissing me off.
He's down to his last case of Zima, too.
Yeah, I am. It was on sale.
Yeah. So anyway,
anymore.
You have styles of water. You have water making styles. You have a malt making styles. For example, back when there's only brown malt because we didn't know how to make anything more pale than that. That's what you made.
Still get it to malt, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you look at when you were able to make black malt, you actually had the understanding of how to make a difference between pale, brown, red, caramel, Munich, black, roasted, all those things. When you discovered that, you found that if you had a high alkaline water, like high bicarbonates, like, let's just say you were in Dublin. And you added some dark malts, and they added some, you didn't even know what acidity was. You'd never heard of pH because Mr. pH hadn't been born yet.
Yeah. Mr. P or Mr. A.
I think it's Peter Henry or I don't remember.
Something close.
Yeah, I wasn't.
But what you
there
did
then.
know is the beer tasted better. So you kept using those dark malts, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, wait a minute. You mean people would drink it and you'd sell more of
Not
it?
the computer. Yeah, exactly.
I'm selling more than
They
the guy
drank
down
more
the
of it.
street.
Wow. Then why in the hell would you want... Oh, wait a minute. You answered that. Yes, you would make more of the beer that tasted, frankly,
'Cause they
pretty
drink more.
damn good.
Right.
So if you had Pilsner water, if you're in the town of Pilsner, where it's basically volcanic rock, and you have, if you will, equivalent to snowmelt. Those of you listening in the Lake Tahoe area or around Denver, and you have snowmelt out of the Rockies, good God, don't you dare make a freaking brown ale. I mean, come on, dudes. We're all like dying for the water that you've got because you can make an amazing delicate freaking Pilsner that, I mean, did I say that right?
I think so.
Freaking.
I think so. Spell
I got
it.
the message.
Okay. Now, then again, I worked for Schlitz in Milwaukee. Lake Michigan water is some pretty fucking awesome water.
Okay.
No, it's not going to make Coors. It would make a lame-ass Coors. If you made Coors out of water, it would just taste like, well, worse.
It tastes like Coors.
Yeah.
Well,
Coors
something.
Light.
No, if you made
Coors.
Coors out of Lake Michigan water, it wouldn't taste like Coors at all. It would taste muddled and wrong and just like,
So, are you
Schlitz.
saying then that we are not recognizing our local resources and making the beer that would naturally go together well with those resources?
Perhaps not necessarily, but I guess.
Or perhaps we're still imitating those styles of the continent that did develop the beer styles.
Exactly.
We're sort of stuck.
And I agree with that because we have Michael Jackson's Book of Beer. Can I have a toast to Michael Jackson?
Yeah,
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's always.
I'm not testing you, Justin, with that in your glass.
Damn it.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I drink.
That's because we have beer in front of us.
Okay. Oh, God, that's good. Did I say God is good? Yeah.
God is good. Beer is great.
Okay, so you have so many things that influence the local character of your beer. One is water. And one is water like you put dark ingredients like dark malt in because you need to counter the alkali aspect of the bicarbonates in your water. So you add black malts, roasted malts that have an acidic character that make, frankly, a freaking better beer. Okay? That's one aspect of water. You have Pilsner water. If you make something really, try to make something dark and heavy, rich, oh my God. You know, you want a barley wine that's got,
Brian just turned inside out, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
I know the webcam's not working, but.
Is there a mop?
He just turned inside out.
Okay, so you try to do it with Pilsner water, it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah. Oh,
All right.
All right.
Okay, so water makes a huge difference. And then you look at what you have, like, as mentioned, malt. What your capabilities are. Now, you look at things like hops. Like I mentioned earlier, at the time of Columbus, 1492, if I remember correctly, half the beer in Europe was made with hops, and half had no freaking hops in it. Okay, there's a lot of other ingredients you used, and some of those were, well, we didn't have rail back then. Rail came, I think, a little later. Even in this country, Conestoga wagons, weren't popular until like the 1800s. So you pretty much use what you had available to you more locally. Now, if you're in Northern Europe, you had some amazing herbs to make gruit. And the Catholic Church had a monopoly on some of those herbs that were used to make beer. Basically, taxation ruled the day. You've heard of the thing called Reinheitsgebot, perhaps. Justin, you, anybody else? Yeah.
Refresh me again.
It's called the German Purity Law. Well, my ass. It was really a taxation law. Because what it wanted to do was say, barley, it really doesn't make really very good bread. So you have to use barley to make your beer because if you use wheat, except those damn wheat breweries that just made a mess of things, Weiss beer. Ugh. Anyway, so you use barley to make your beer because wheat or any of the grain we need for human consumption straight ahead. Yeah, like for bread. Okay. Hops. You have to use hops because the Roman Catholic Church had a monopoly on the gruit herbs, and they frankly could affect your head in ways that wasn't as conducive to
getting money in the coffers of the royalty.
Well, there's that, and sometimes people had, let's say, too much fun and maybe too many offspring or whatever the case may be. So you have certain reasons not to have hops before, and at this point they went, hops are actually a sedative. Oddly enough, and they make you relax. And you know what? You've got a smile on your face there. Which, have you been drinking hop beer?
Oh, of course. I've been drinking both kinds.
Okay, now look around.
He's just been looking at his bank account.
Most people here seem to have not an unpleasant look on their face.
Not at all. No.
Okay, so
I just look this way.
And hops sometimes do influence a feeling of kind of happiness. And we're satisfied with what we're doing. We're not willing to go out and, fight for something like that. So societies have developed for wanting hops. But before that, before hops were common in beer, so many other beers were used, so many other herbs were used that had different effects. And a lot of what they want to do is have little antimicrobial effect, so the beer actually survived and was drinkable, some days, weeks later.
I can't help but think, especially the more you describe it in terms of some ingredients being under the control of who was controlling things at the time, I can't help but think that maybe people back then would rather be more like us and have the mobility and the technology and the ways and means to have more ingredients, rather than us become more primitive and use less ingredients and have less things to. You see what I'm saying? Whereas it's sort of romantic to say, well, if you have the perfect water for Pilsner, well, that's really the beer that you should be making. But it's more modern, obviously, to say, well, I can make any beer I want because we have the science and the know-how and the resources to get me the ingredients I need. So I can't help but think that maybe back then people were going, oh, can you just imagine if we could just import stuff from all over? The beers that we could make.
God, if we only knew what the hell pH was and knew we could buy food-grade phosphoric acid, we could deal with this water.
So I just feel that there's some, while it is romantic, and I do believe that, by the way, the people in Colorado should be, as part of their repertoire, be making these beautiful Pilsner beers, right?
Yes.
I also think that they should embrace the rest of it.
But can I accentuate that?
Yeah.
You should be making fucking beautiful Pilsner beers like no one else in the continent can make. So maybe
Agreed.
Lake Tahoe. Those of you in Lake Tahoe, come on, get on board.
Or even San Francisco.
No, San Francisco's a different water.
They get Hetchy water.
But shouldn't they also then make anything the fuck they want because they can?
Well, yeah, they could, but
should they?
But if you had Pilsner beer like the way if you had Rocky Mountain Colorado spring water made into a beer that had like amazing malt and amazing hops, let's say not like insignificant amount of hops, actual, tasteable amount of hops.
Of course.
Like a fuckload of hops.
I like that, I guess, if your description is accurate. Then,
yes.
Then you'd have a beer that you would just like want to cry about. Because you would want to not ever drink anything else again because it would be so amazing.
Well, if it could be done like that, then maybe I couldn't argue either. But I just,
Now, if you're in Bakersfield, you have a different set of parameters to work with, and you have to do some different things.
You would make brown beer. You'd make it out of shit.
Well, you have a different set of parameters, like getting the fuck out of Bakersfield, for one.
But suppose you're stuck
beer to ferment.
No, but suppose you're stuck in Bakersfield. You need to figure out how to make the most amazing beer from the water. From the malts, but also you have something more than that. Bakersfield's often like a kind of dry, sort of dusty place. So I would think like a heavy stout would be really... No, that wouldn't be appropriate. Help me out here. What would be a good beer to drink in Bakersfield?
Budweiser is the perfect beer for Bakersfield.
Oh yeah, no,
you can trust me.
I actually don't think so. I think Bud Light might be more appropriate.
Yeah, you might be.
But so what if your water didn't match it? How would you deal with that?
Yeah.
Shit. You might have to actually put a bunch of black malt in your beer to deal with the bicarbonates because you're in an agricultural zone, and there's Yeah. So you have to deal with whatever you have to work with, whether it's ingredients, whether it's weather, whether it's climate. Mm-hmm. When it's hot outside. Now, if you're in Germany and you want to drink, beer to go with your heavy German food, and the fact that you're freezing your freaking
in the summer.
Off, yes, and the long underwear is just not even doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, then you want some high carbohydrate beer. You want more residual gravity in your beer. You need to have a beer that works and tastes great with that. You need to have a beer that matches that. The Death and Taxes is something I made. I wanted a dark beer. I wanted it to fit California. I wanted you to eat it with tacos. Okay, because I wanted it light-bodied, black, and it's hot weather, so frankly, you're drinking, well... All right, you're looking at me in a bad way. You're drinking a lot of beer. Fine.
No, I just think you made that one just to fuck with people. Because you wanted a nice black, dark beer that's light and refreshing, and them to go, I can eat this as tacos.
Yeah, but I'm trying to justify it now.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
First time I had that beer was with breakfast. It was an omelet.
Really?
And that little thing in Katati, little neighbor.
That was before you got out of rehab.
It was great. Oh, yeah. For sure.
It's funny. That's the first time I had that today as well.
But it was beautiful. It worked. It was one of the first beers I you could have obviously it was a long time. You could have beer with breakfast.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
And then you went and watched cartoons.
Okay,
well, I couldn't. I had to drive home first. But
okay, so let me ask you then: what does make beer style? And that, like I started to say, was water, climate, ingredients.
Yeah.
Now, malt. Let's assume malt, basically barley, spread around, and it had some level of transportation. Now, like today, I have one beer which I didn't bring today called Uncle Fudd. It's a Norwegian farmhouse style beer. Now, frankly, I made that up, but it is accurate.
We're all waiting for the.
There's no style for that.
No, but in fact, it's accurate because,
Okay.
first of all, what is a farmhouse style? I mean, anybody here, BJ, SAP, Judge? Oh God, I'm sorry.
Jipper, yeah.
Thank God.
You're going to have to go for that one.
I got my number on Thursday.
So what do Norwegians plant in the farm? Ice?
No, mostly rye.
Salted
Norwegian
fish.
Because barley's actually a little too cold to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Short
You
growing
probably,
season?
yeah, you probably do some lumber. You probably timber, I should say. It's timber before it's cut down. Because that grows real well up there. Cabbages, yeah, maybe. Tomatoes, not so much, actually, yeah. Hops, ooh.
Maybe.
No, frankly, no. It's too goddamn cold. If you're in Norway to be growing hops.
I think you
not
grow
that
tall
can't-
bitches.
If you plant
That's what you
ice,
grow in Norway.
you're going to harvest wind.
Okay, so there we go. So what is a Norwegian farmhouse style? Well, what's a farmhouse? A farmhouse is basically you're dealing with what you have to work with. Because you don't have a whole lot of money, you've got a whole lot of freaking barley or rye or whatever, and you're trying to trade that for, commodities you can trade with. Okay, so you use what you got available. And you got a lot of trees nearby because, frankly, there's a lot of conifer trees, especially a lot of spruce. Spruce trees are often used replacing hops because hops aren't native to, oddly enough, to Norway, Scandinavia. You have to go down into Belgium, France, Germany, Poland, Czech Republic to get hops. Up there, you're not going to have hops. So what do? You use something else because you have to contrast that gas-sweet kind of malt, that gecky stuff. And so spruce trees are often used. Spruce trees don't grow as well down in the south as where I am. But spruce trees have a flavor, a piney sort of flavor, and perhaps an astringency, depending how you use them, to balance that malt and make it kind of tasty beverage. That's why they're working for tips that some of you have already drank. I noticed some of you drank more than one glass of.
What's the one
and
that we just tapped?
for some reason, no one's been
the
filling
working
my
for tips
glass
or the
again.
Artemis? What's tapped now?
Artemis.
This one's the Artemis. I did finish the working
We're
for
drinking
tips. Then.
the tasty beverage.
The redwood. Right?
Okay. So what is Norwegian farmhouse style? It's what you have to work with. Because you don't have hops growing on the farm, you harvest the trees, you harvest the spruce trees, and you have a lot of rye grown nearby, so you use rye. Uncle Fudd's 20% rye. It gives a dryness. No, well, sort of almost a spicy, but a dryness that I like.
It's a spicy dryness. I always, when I have a rye beer, it's got a nice kind of back of the tongue kind of spiciness to it.
Yeah, it's just totally.
It's not upfront spiciness, but you just know it's just a nice little extra something on there.
It's very different than barley.
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay, so is it Norwegian farmhouse style? Yes. In fact, what I made is a Norwegian farmhouse style. Not because Michael Jackson wrote it up that way, but because that is, in fact, what you would do if you were in Scandinavia and you were on a farm.
And you had to make beer.
Come on. And if you wanted to drink beer,
and you had
come
to,
on.
And you had to pee. Sorry. Basic human necessities here. I didn't have to plug that in there.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So, okay, so you have in local ingredients, especially besides hops. There are some Native American hop kind of varieties. As a fellow in New Mexico that's doing a lot with native New Mexican hops. Pretty amazing.
What are native New Mexican hops? Do you know the...
I think you're confusing hops with a Hopi Indian.
He's putting those in the beer.
I have had problems with spelling.
In the past. And recognizing humans.
And cultures.
Yes.
Oh, you're a big hop, aren't you?
What are native New Mexican hops?
There's no variety names because, frankly, we didn't harvest them and call them names.
There's wild stuff that just grows around.
Yeah.
And they haven't really designated them as anything. But in America, North America, there's natural varieties of hops that just kind of grow around.
Like the fungus in my bathroom.
Yeah.
But that's North America.
That's from
not
Schumann,
New
and he's
Mexico.
brought it
And
in
if you
from
put that in
other
your
places.
beer, Justin, I don't want to drink it.
You haven't had my beer, have you?
I hope not.
It tastes like I did. I'll tell you that right now.
Fair enough. Okay, so you've got ingredients that are local. You've got climate that's local. It makes you want to drink something different. For those of you listening in San Diego, those of you listening in Anchorage, I'm guessing you have a different kind of style of things you want to enjoy, a different, perhaps, amount of calorie intake you want. If you're in Alaska in the wintertime, you probably want to be refreshed. That's what all the major breweries want you to drink beer, to be refreshed.
That's right. Drinkability.
Yeah, you want that train of coldness to
You
go
want
through.
the can to turn blue before you.
You want to see the sun.
Crack it open.
You want to get freaking warm. And I love that drinkability. To me, that was the most misunderstood, brilliant advertising concept of any American brewery, and frankly, they haven't had a lot of intelligence. I mean that in a CIA sort of sense. Intelligence in their marketing. But drinkability, by God, who here listening to this doesn't want drinkability in their beer? I mean, do you want to have one beer and, God, you suffer through it? It takes about an hour. It's almost as bad as listening to this show.
I'm sorry I bought that kind of thing, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Not quite.
But you want to have a beer, in my mind, you want to have a beer you drink and go, God, that's fucking good.
Yeah.
Where's the next one? And, when you're sitting in front of a microphone, you have to get somebody else to get your beer. It really is annoying as hell. And, they just don't
the
refuse.
beer's good, though.
I mean, every 10 minutes, I have to have someone else get up to get me another damn beer.
It's because you're talking so much.
I get thirsty when I talk. Okay, so anyway, you want a drinkability. You want to have what fits your climate. Like if I'm freezing cold, I'm going to need a little bit more carbs in my beer because every pint I drink, I've got to warm up that pint of liquid to my body heat before I get rid of it. So I'm going to need some calories in that to help balance the fact that I can warm up the damn pint of beer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the temperature, your climate makes a difference for what you want to drink. Your beer style. Your beer style in San Diego ought to be different than Minneapolis, ought to be different than Anchorage, ought to be different than where it rains all the time in Portland or Seattle.
How about food differences, too? There's
absolutely.
I don't want to be drinking certain beers with certain foods. Just doesn't go.
Yeah.
That's true. Well,
I don't know the last time I had a stout with my sushi.
But death and taxes with sushi?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's clean and black the way
But it's dark.
sushi ought to be clean.
It's dark.
Will Smith.
It's fucking with me.
Well, that's my job.
That's your job.
Yeah.
So
moving on. So there's so many different things. There's water that affects a beer style.
A lot
There's
of things.
climate that affects beer style.
Yeah.
There's local ingredients, whether it's you got pine trees growing nearby, you have herbs growing by, you have spruce trees. And you make spruce beer. In Alaska, an Alaskan brewing company makes a spruce beer. I believe Anchor made one time. I've not found someone that really enjoyed it as much as I think they ought to have. But you use what you have to work with. Redwood trees is what I use because it's available.
Yeah.
And if you recognize...
It's endangered,
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And there you are, chopping them down.
We have chainsaw murderers up in our neck of the woods.
You're just clipping the ends. Come on.
I know.
But I've heard that redwood
heard about
trees
me.
aren't native to North America, that the Russians brought them over.
Fucking commies. It always comes back to them.
I've read
I haven't heard that, but if that's the case,
They
that's
come
what I
over
have to
hunting
deal
our
with.
seals. And
That's what we have to
Otters, they're looking for the otters, not the seals.
Oh, man.
Don't worry.
He needs his own fucking show.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
History with Brian.
It's great.
But what about some of the flowers, actually? Like flowers you've used?
You would
Or
mention flowers.
Something
huh?
native to California that's been pretty pleasant and easy to use? Or is it-
All right.
Is that a whole
Let
ball
me
of
tell you a
wax?
story for those of you people out there that are in high school.
Well, there's one. We do have one.
I had a high school project that I was going to make something fermented because I was fermenting things when I was in high school. And I found out later, thank God, my teacher was a home brewer and apparently not so bad. So I proposed to him that I'd make for this particular biology project, I'd make a hawthorn blossom wine. I don't know why he went for it. I guess he didn't care about his job as much as
wanted
his,
the wine.
his lust for alcohol.
He was tenured.
He was, yeah, he must have been.
He liked you a lot.
Yeah.
So we had a hawthorn tree in my backyard growing up, and I went out when my folks were gone, and I put a fresh vacuum cleaner bag in the vacuum, and I vacuumed the tree. Soon found out this is going to take for fucking ever. And I ended up with a lot less than I thought. It had some spiders and whatever. But I made this hawthorn blossom wine, and it was... Well, I didn't actually drink it. But you can use all sorts of things to make different characters.
Yeah.
And I tend to not use so much of the blossom. The... one of the ones, which beer are we on right now?
Artemis.
Now it gave me some. Thank God.
I think you have a glass right here.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
It's far away. It's like 3 feet in front of you, Brian.
Well, that's why he's
move.
drinking the darker beer with more calories, so he
Yes.
can burn the calories to reach over there.
Yes, this is Artemis. One of the flowers in it is the wild bergamot bubon. It has amazing floral characters to it. And it's because that is something that is native, that I chose it, and it has characteristics similar to the same things you can get from hops. Not identical by any stretch of the world, but it's got
Aromatics?
pininess, it's got aromatics,
Yeah.
it's got some almost bitterness, it's got some things, and we have these in Native America. So imagine if we had barley here, and you lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan, for example, you would be in a climate that has all the perfect gruit herbs. And some of them, like Yarrow, I don't know when Yarrow came over, we have, in that part of the country or that part of the world, we have a similar wild rosemary plant called, I can't remember crap anymore, Newfoundland tea, I think is. It grows up there. You can have some amazing, musty, swampy herbs that make delightful beer. Okay? You can have parts of the country where, okay, you all know about Scotch. Okay?
No.
Now, you use, some of you have heard about it.
I've heard about
personally.
it.
Yeah.
I've only heard about it, too. You use peat as your source to make a fire to burn your malt. And so you get peat malt. You get peat smoke, basically, in your malt. What about parts of, let's say, Pennsylvania, where coal was pretty predominant, and you wanted to make malt and you were in Pennsylvania? You go back a few hundred years when things were a little more crude. You could have entirely different flavor in the malt if you were in Appalachia.
So,
because you could have peat flavor.
Creosote malt.
You could have,
coal
absolutely.
flavor. Yeah. Well,
I don't know what that tastes like. But trust
Cancer.
me, if you were living in those areas, you would find a way to make that malt taste fucking amazing because...
Okay, and that's what I wanted to ask you, because sometimes... I mean, talking about what we have local, just because it's local, it could taste like shit. But I guess you're right. You have to find a way to make it great. Because really, that's your final ingredient, isn't it? Like people. And they have to want your beer. And it has to be to their tastes and their local. I mean, in the Bay Area, we have this very diverse, but also pretty well-educated beer crowd and beer lovers. So you could be making these very local ingredient beers, and you're experimenting with flowers and spruce and things that you're passionate about, but if nobody gives a rat's ass and doesn't want to drink it,
early on, it's what sells, and the local guy, he's making his own thing.
Yeah,
do you run into that at all? Are people? I don't know what
it's really fun with this beer.
Yeah.
Because the people that are, let's say, hardcore beer advocate. Not that I'm not a member. I'm not implying that. The people that believe there's certain rules, you have to follow rules. I'm not good with rules. They taste this beer and go, "Oh, got it." Let me try this just a moment, second.
Yeah, try it once more.
God, this beer's wrong. What the fuck is in this beer?
Yeah.
You're just gonna totally give it some good zeros there.
And you've been in the bar when that's happened, haven't you? Because local Bay Area beer lovers know Brian because he's the guy delivering his kegs of beer to the different establishments. You've been in a bar when someone has done that, haven't you?
Oh, and I've forced people to drink beer that's really fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good way to get a free beer.
But what do you do then? I mean, obviously you're still making the beer.
I totally left. Yeah. It's funny because you take into a place that has a more foodie culture, and you give them this beer, and they go, "Oh my God.
Yeah.
We've never had a savory beer. And this beer, I'm sorry, those of you that are listening online, I'd love to pour you a glass of this, but it would kind of spill and the electrons would probably get in a problem.
It's happened before.
Yeah. This beer is more a savory beer, which is just, frankly, wrong from the get-go, except what if it's not? I mean, I don't know. So I love to have these people taste this beer, and half of them, the ones that are more beer geeks, the more locked into what you should because they've been trained by the BJCP.
Style Nazis.
Style Nazis, yes, thank you. They find it's completely wrong. But the other people that just go, God, I just want something good in my mouth that ideally gets me a little buzz.
Enjoy the one that's in your mouth.
Horse.
Yeah, those people go...
Just like women, enjoy the one you're with,
Yeah, exactly. Those people go...
The one who just likes things in their mouth.
What's the definition of good, too? What are they comparing it to?
It's whatever I say.
How long is a piece of string?
And part of it is like...
That's not beer. Well, what's beer?
What is beer?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you, what is beer?
Oh, boy.
That goes back to, am I drinking a beer or not?
That's not an answer.
Well, it just rolls back to what we're thinking. Where was beer
It's not an answer
started?
It's also not an answer.
That, too, is not an answer.
You can't answer a question with a question.
All right.
Why not?
Beer. I look up there and he says beer menu.
Yeah.
And I order off the beer menu.
That's a beer.
It better be beer.
It's on the.
But how do you know it's a beer?
How spoiled we are in the
because
Bay.
it's on the beer menu.
All right, so let me
It's been preordained for me. It says
well,
beer.
it's got barley in it, and it may taste like Coke,
Barley.
I'll have another, please.
I'm with you on that. So let me throw something else out there. Taxation.
Yep.
Totally changes everything. Now, you look at how tax has been applied to alcohol through mostly Europe is where it's older. I mean, apparently we haven't had barley in this continent like I think would be kind of a fun experiment for as many centuries as they have in Europe. So I found some statistics about the 1400s and the 1500s where some cities a quarter to a third, and even one was 75% of the city's revenue came from beer taxes.
Wow.
You comprehend that. So if you're a brewer and you're taxed...
There's still a lot of free parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my tax rate.
Okay, so different things are taxed. So you look at how do we have the styles we have in England today? Now, part of it is currently you're taxed as a brewer or an importer. I actually shipped some of my beer and Barry Republic's beer over to England and poured it in London. That was so goddamn much fun. I love being able to swear online. So the percent alcohol had to be recorded and the tax paid as a percent. Now, before that, tax was paid. First, you had a license to make beer and a license to serve beer, which all, of course, involved money because governments seem to want whatever that stuff is. But also, there was a tax paid based on the number of pounds of malt you used. You paid so many, they weren't euros back then, pounds per pound. That sounds kind of goofy, but actually pounds per quarter.
Yeah.
It was called a quarter of malt back then. So if you then all of a sudden have these colonies that come forth in your culture because, the Americas were discovered, this guy Columbus or whatever, and so you had sugar more available in the West Indies. Now, you're taxed on the amount of barley you use in your beer. What if you have sugar? Sugar's not taxed now, is it? So you add some sugar to your beer, you get stronger beer, and you have lower tax.
Huh.
Now the government gets all pissy about that because they're somehow missing on the tax revenue. I don't know why governments get pissy about that, but whatever. So now today you're taxed in England on the level in your kettle, the amount of number of gallons, times the percent gravity. The gravity of beer. So basically, it's the amount of potential alcohol. So in England, you have beers that are more thoroughly fermented out.
Yeah.
Because you're getting taxed on it, whether you can making alcohol out of that or not. So you may as well get as much alcohol to satisfy the customers.
What is it here now? Just by the barrel?
By the barrel. Doesn't matter the alcohol content.
Can you put the sugar in the fermenter?
They don't care.
No,
sugar's not taxed.
No, I know, but they're looking at the amount of alcohol possible from the kettle.
Oh, they would probably take a dim view on that. Mention the Rhein-Heitsky boat.
I'm looking around, getting around all this stuff.
Okay, you're a very different person than... Actually, you're the same as most every human.
He's a sneaky douche. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, so the Rhein-Heitsky boat. It was about we must only use barley, hops, yeast, and water. Well, they didn't know what yeast was, but they kind of implied that.
Yeah.
Okay, now what that meant was, you can't use wheat because we need wheat for bread, and because we're taxing barley because we know barley is used for beer. So if you use something other than barley, we're not getting in tax revenue. Oh, wait a minute. If you're not using hops, you're using some other herbs, and we're not getting hop tax revenue. So, frankly, we're going to dictate what you use to make your beer because it's what we're taxing. So is it about making pure beer? No, it's about making pure revenue, frankly, to the people in charge.
So we call it something other than beer.
Well,
Gruit.
Vice beer.
All right, I got to get us to a break, guys.
All right.
Another break. We come back. I'd like to talk about your beer specifically. We've been drinking it. I want to know what's in it. My tongue is a bit numb from this Artemis. It has a
lightweight, I think is the word.
Well, there's a characteristic about this beer that's a little bit Novocaine-like, and I want more of it because of that. It's a nice feeling. So I want to talk about what you've put in these beers, or not beers.
I've heard about you that you pretty much want more of anything that's alcohol.
It's pretty much alcohol, chemical, whatever.
I can relate. It's not a problem.
Yeah, get me away from reality. It's perfect. If only JP would embrace this, he'd be a much happier young man. But he chooses to wallow in reality instead.
Yeah, well,
whatever. So let's do this. I'll take a quick break. When we come back, more of Brian Hunt from Moonlight Brewing Company, and we're going to talk about what he's put in these beers that he brought to share with us tonight, and maybe you can learn something from this man. All right, hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
Boy, that's pretty random what there is.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Attention homebrew shop owners at Fermentap. They know you're tired of buying the same old gear that everyone else has. That's why Fermentap offers the newest and most cutting-edge brewing equipment known to man. Since 1998, Fermentap has been leading the fight against the boring and mundane by offering strange, unique, and just plain smart equipment. Like their stainless domed false bottoms. Never deal with the floating plastic hassle of other false bottoms again. And since they're made from stainless steel, they'll last a lifetime. Fermentap's line of copper wort chillers are the best on the market, designed to cool your wort faster and more efficiently than other immersion chillers. They actually invented the equipment to make these chillers not only work great, but look great too. How about a fantastic line of ingredients, including vanilla beans, sorghum extract, blue agave extract, hop bitterness extract, unique wine yeasts, green coffee beans, sake kits, all stuff you can't find anywhere else. Fermentap carries all the standard products and equipment you need as well, such as all-grain systems, stainless hardware, kettles, carbonation stones, you name it, they've got it. Fermentap's entire line of products has been helping retail shops meet the demands of their customers for nearly 10 years, and they want to help you too. For more information, see them on the web at fermentap.com or call Jason at 1-800-942-2750. Fermentap, better beer through innovation.
Hey, what are you doing, man?
Writing a review of WLP 400.
What? You're reviewing yeast?
Yeah. White Labs has home brewer reviews of all their strains. Are you new to these interwebs? Check it out.
That's awesome.
White Labs, your source for great yeast, invites all brewers to visit whitelabs.com to read and write your own reviews of all their yeast strains. Get real-world tips and tricks from other brewers who have made the most of their vials and post your own experiences. It's another way White Labs brings you closer to the best yeast on the planet.
And send. There you go.
You misspelled flocculate, dude.
What?
White Labs. It's all in the vial.
Hi. I have a sixer of Lagunitas in the icebox. My roommate's gone for the weekend, and I'm wearing something flimsy.
Listen, baby. I told her not to call me after 8. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I gotta go.
Who is that? Your girlfriend? You loser.
Shut up, Doug. Did you guys get the cauldron set up on the altar of my art?
Sir, if you weren't so busy getting booty calls, you'd know that.
The hurricane furnace is using propane while you guys talk. All right, I'm using the scroll of Mosher to boil the first decoction. Nope, it's scorched. What do you do? Frack, scoop it out and try again. Doug, use your math rake. You took too long. The color is now darkened past the point where you can still call it a Pilsner.
This sucks.
I hate it when Greg's the brewmaster.
What's this? Poindexter Urkel?
Dude, can't you see we're in the middle of a brew session? Is that an actual beer?
Yeah, I crafted it. I don't really use the dice anymore. I'm a 10th level beer nerd.
Are you a 10th level beer nerd? Do you belch White Labs 833 and crap Simcoe? Then you're in good company at Northern Brewer. Northern Brewer has all your beer nerd needs. Ingredients, equipment, and knowledge 24 hours a day at northernbrewer.com. Plus, fast, cheap shipping. Only $7.99 for the contiguous USA. And check out Northern Brewer's huge selection of dorky beer kits, including the Cylon Detecting 3-Hearted Ale and the collector's item Super Alt.
Mine's in mint condition because it's still in the box.
Make 10th level at northernbrewer.com.
Wait till you can pour it out of your own kegerator.
Yeah. I mean, your friends will look at you with awe.
And it's just hot.
It is?
It's so super hot.
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session. Keeping the ass out of Brewcast. This is the Brewing Network.
Okay, welcome back to the program, everybody. Still hanging out with Brian Hunt from Moonlight Brewing Company and talking about,
all sorts of shit.
We are talking about
everything.
We're out there.
We're just talking shit, I think.
Doc's having flashbacks. We are out there, man. I'm loving it. I do apologize that we don't have the live element to this program. I'm genuinely disappointed in that because I think we would have gotten some good comments and questions from you, from our live audience.
It's not our fault.
They're going to have to talk amongst themselves on the forum and on the show page and things like that.
Well, what I think we could do is give out Bevo's number in the chat, and then they can just call Bevo's phone, and then we'll put it on speakerphone.
Oh, we could do that.
You want to
just give out Bevo's number?
So call out.
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
What is it?
555 Beevor.
With 2 R's.
99 cents a minute.
Yeah.
So I will say this, though, if you're a podcast listener, had I known in the beginning of the show, if I could have seen the future, I would have said this then, but so a lot of you get the show just via iTunes, and that means it just shows up on your iPod and you press play.
Cha-cha.
You've never seen our website. There is going to be an essay that Brian, for lack of a better word, that Brian wrote that's really about what we've been talking about on this program. So if you didn't notice it on the homepage, it's going to be on the BN Army blog. I'll also put it up in the forum. I will put a link to it on the Facebook. I will tweet. I'll do all that stupid things we have to do because we're all lazy now and we don't know where to look for things anymore.
Feed it to us.
No, you want to look for it.
But it will be a link to what we're talking about today, where Brian really has a very well thought out and it's a 1-page thing. It's very nicely done that really talks about this theory that we're talking about. What if? In your beer. So I encourage you to read it, especially if you found yourself lost at any portion of this discussion we've had today. Like Brett, which is really sort of the point in some ways. So if you've got this via iTunes, go to our homepage, brewingnetwork.com, and look at the BN Army blog, and you'll be able to read this essay. It really does go with the show, and I'm glad Brian's going to let me post it up there for you guys, too.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Hey, there was one thing in that essay, the sourdough bread.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Like why it's made in San Francisco? Like why it does so well?
Climate, probably temperature and humidity.
Yeah.
First of all, let me do this for our list, if I may. Just a little background. Essentially, what Brian said about sourdough is, it's unique to San Francisco because it works in San Francisco. The ingredients that you needed, the way it became sour. So he was using it in this essay as an example of a local product. So,
but if you
because you can go online and buy sourdough French bread starter. I made French bread when I was a kid. I grew up in Sacramento, California, and I had a sourdough French bread I used to make. It just didn't taste like sourdough French bread from San Francisco.
It makes bread.
It made great bread. I ate a lot of it. Survived, apparently. But it doesn't taste the same as sourdough French bread. Sourdough culture has a bacteria and a yeast that work together to make the sourdough culture, to make a whole lot of things that biochemistry and the clock wouldn't permit me to go into.
Yeah.
So suffice to say, people tried to make it everywhere else, and it did not work. Not the way it does in San Francisco. Why? It's not that when you tried it in Seattle, it wasn't bad. It wasn't the same. So you try to make a goose.
Yeah, lambic, yeah.
Yeah, a lambic. Somewhere else in the world. It's not that it's going to be bad. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
You have different creatures in the air, different temperature situations, different malts you use, different reasons why. Everything's going to be different.
Yeah.
But it's not that it's worse or better. It's just different.
No, it's
and
worse.
that's why my whole gist of this argument, hopefully you, those of you reading this or listening to this, have already read the post. It's not that these things are better or worse. It's just there are so many parameters that we take for granted that affect the beer styles we have today. And we here I am on this North American continent, we take for granted the things that make beer styles what they are because we could have some here on this continent that are unique to the world. And if we had barley here, we'd have people other parts of the world going, God, I wish I could make that damn Coors.
Yeah.
That's just so good. And they're in Munich.
Yeah.
They're going, I can't make that Rocky Mountain Spring water beer because I'm living in Munich. My water's different. We could have people in Prague going, man, I want to make an IPA and this water sucks.
You know, I think we also even take for granted just the availability of products in general. I remember a few years ago, I'm embarrassed that it wasn't that long ago. I'd flown to New York, and I was driving from New York to Connecticut where my family lives, and it was in the middle of the night. I took the red eye or something or whatever. I landed late, driving in the middle of the night, so I stop at an all-night diner somewhere between New York City and where I'm headed in Connecticut, and I'm ordering breakfast, and of course toast comes with my breakfast. And what kind of toast would you like?
Toast with beer, really?
Yeah. And I said I would like sourdough. She said, what? Sourdough. I'd like. And literally, she had no idea what I was talking about. And of course she doesn't. Were
you mumbling?
I got it really quickly. I was like,
white, yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner, but I just thought, that's right. Sourdough is a. It's not that it doesn't exist anywhere else, but it's pretty uniquely San Francisco.
Yeah, but
it's been exported.
But I would have assumed, just like you, that it would have made its way. I mean,
but this was a small diner
for God's sake.
in a tiny town. You know, I took whatever exit. There was nothing else. It was the only thing open. I mean, it was a small place, and this, not only did they not have it, she had no idea she had never heard the word. She had no idea what I was talking about. And I think it's a good example of we not only take for granted our ingredients, nowadays we take for granted that everything is available everywhere.
Well, if it weren't for the internet, how many people listening would have a clue
Would have a
what
date.
Would not be
lambic
listening.
was? Well, that too. But lambic,
Right?
would we know what lambic is? Really?
We might know about it, but we might have never tasted it or even thought we could ever get it.
Exactly. Okay, so, I think the Columbia River Gorge would be an amazing place
that band.
to make, like, creek. Because you have all fruit trees up and down the gorge. You have the winds blowing just exactly right. If there ever was a place on this continent, to replicate the Sun Valley,
It would be Mendocino.
Well, there's a whole lot of places. It would be slightly different. But you do what you have to work with. If you have cherries grown in Hood River, my God, and you have all these creatures that are growing on grapes and cherries and every other fruit up and down with this wind just whistles. I mean, you could have some amazing things grow in your beer, and you could make some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And it saddens me that, come on, Full Sail. Come on, you could make some creek like none of us could possibly touch.
Yeah.
So,
Why Full Sail? Because they're on the river there?
They're
because
on the river.
Yeah.
Just there.
Okay.
they make great beers for what they do, but if they recognize what they have, that is because of where they are.
Yeah.
The wind, the weather, the climate, the trees that have wild yeast on them.
Yeah.
You could just
I wonder what the refinery would add to my Pacheco beer.
Who the hell needs Flanders if you had, the Hood River Valley?
Cancer, probably.
Well, if you like cancer.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Hey, don't knock it.
I mean, nowadays, see, I still do, and I want to start talking about the beer we have here too. But I still want to relate, this kind of history of the style and why beer is as we know it because of what they had to how it is now, right? And there are really different factors now than what we've talked about. Like I made a joke, but it's kind of serious. One of my local ingredients in the air is whatever's coming out of that refinery that's about 2 miles away from me, if that, right? And it's a massive Chevron refinery here in Martinez. And so this is a local... I can't get away from the fact that it's in the air. It's a local ingredient of mine, right?
Huge ball.
Doesn't mean I should embrace it, does it?
You cannot make high carcinogen beer if you're somewhere else.
That's right. So it's absolutely right.
Why do you have huge balls?
Sorry, you love it.
An excellent point.
Nuclear balls.
So I do like to kind of modernize this discussion in the sense that there's a lot more factors involved, mobility and what people's palates and tastes are. Like I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's no longer just that there's a river flowing by or that there's a spruce tree in your backyard, is it? There's a lot more.
No, it's so much more.
It's Doc's Hummer that's driving around.
Kicking up dust.
Yeah, you see what I mean. It's hard for me to ignore, some of these factors when you're talking about making the beer that is your region's beer.
It's the butterfly
I'm
effect.
not positive that the Pacheco beer marketing is going to look so great to most beer consumers, the picture of the refinery in the background of my label.
Damn, you're making amazing beer.
I guess you're right.
Not regional.
My people
man.
right here might just right there at the casino at the California Grand are going to love that shit.
Well, your slogan can be, if your neighbor doesn't kill you, our beer will.
God damn it, you're good, JV. You're a marketing man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
We'll try to have one of those nice, traditional logos, like a Sierra Nevada with them.
Fancy.
But ours, it literally has the smokestacks in the background.
Yeah, instead of the fresh water stream,
right?
But
then it does have nice, barley,
same ingredients. Just
but the background,
terrible environment.
Yeah, it's sort of a dingy yellow.
Our slogan would be, "Our beer tastes like your clothes smell." Kind of thing. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's a real local beer.
Pacheco beer. It's not just a casino.
Your sister used to smell like us.
Yeah. So, but Brian, I think you see what I mean too when I say that there's a lot of it's not just nature anymore that is involved in this beer. It's the people. It's the rest of the environment. It's so how do I do that?
No, it's really not true. No, you need to read Michael Jackson's Book of Beer, and you make only the beers that are in that book, because those are... No, Justin, you're misunderstanding. Those are the legitimate beer styles.
Uh-huh.
Wait a minute.
The recognizable.
That wasn't what I said. I'm sorry.
That's right. Now we've switched it all around. Do you call any of your beers styles, Brian? Have you said this is a Sonoma style?
No, yes, I make only Abbey style, California Abbey style beers.
You do,
because
absolutely.
I think I explained to you that I am our Moonlight Brewery is the first and only Abbey brewery.
You didn't explain it, but I did see it on your website.
Yes.
What does that mean? Explain that to me, if you would.
It means my church has designated me to be an abbot. And
you got this online, didn't you?
You bought it.
Church. You're jumping the gun.
Sorry.
Now, come on, let's have some reverence.
Carry on.
My church has designated me to be an abbot.
Reverend.
And there's some people that seem to not appreciate that. I have this certificate up in the brewery next to my wanted poster, and I have designated the brewery to be an abbey. So this is the first and only abbey brewery in the United States, and I make I'm not Trappist for the people that get all huffy about that.
There's a lot of anxiety. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not that. I make West Coast California style Abbey beers because they are what I feel is appropriate to the Abbey that I'm in.
All right.
And yes, in fact, it was $20 online.
What is it? The Church of
Universal Life Church.
That's right, the Universal Life Church.
I want that.
I love it. I like this. I'm not making fun of this. I love this idea.
Excuse me, I'd like to do a little shout out here. Colin at Downtown Joe's. I'd like to congratulate him for apparently being engaged. He asked me to
again. Really?
No kidding. Colin's a buddy of ours too.
Okay, well, anyway, he asked me if I'd be available to perform a ceremony.
Really?
So,
well, congratulations,
we'll be there
Colin.
to see him.
Colin, yeah. Round of applause.
Should we do a show from his
Heather.
wedding?
Yes. Here's to Colin and Heather.
You would like that, I'm sure.
Welcome to hell, Colin.
Yeah.
Again.
Spoken from the newlywed in the room.
Yeah.
So anyway, apparently that's my second ceremony that'll be.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's preempting my third one, which was going to be my second. But
what's your uniform
faster.
when you perform these ceremonies?
A bow tie.
I'm naked.
No pants.
Just your brewer's boots, just your rubber brewer's boots. And a hat.
I try
clean
to be
ones.
more liberal than that. I don't always wear boots.
Well, when Doc and Paxton get married, maybe you can do theirs too.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So you've just poured us another beer. Hey,
Yes.
before we get this beer, can I ask one question about the Artemis?
No.
I'm going to ask it anyway. It's my
Okay,
show.
Fine.
What is that Novocaine quality that I've talked to you about? Is that from one of the herbs?
It's one of the herbs. It's the
Novocanus malthus.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, what it is.
This is a botanist here next to me.
Actually, Novocanus linguis.
Ooh.
It's actually got a whole bunch of different names. Bee balm is one. Wild bergamot. People go, oh, I know that. That's the bergamot. That's in Earl Grey tea. No, it's not that. That's an orange, the wild orange from Greece or that part of the world. It's not that. I don't know why they called it that. Oswego tea, the Oswego Indians, which I believe is North State, or they have other words for it in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The Oswego Indians use that for tea. There's some other words for that herb, but it's a Native American herb, and we don't know that for beer because, oddly enough, barley hasn't been on this continent for all that long.
Right.
Whereas the bittering component of the beer is Artemisia vulgaris, which is mugwort.
Okay.
Mugwort, oddly enough, the name comes from having been used in mugs. Hence, probably mugwort. Might be some relation there. It's been used at least 1,000 years in beer.
Wow.
Or we should say ale. Beer, actually, as it came to the UK, was known as something that had hops in it. So I should say ale.
Okay.
Didn't Harry Potter use some of that?
I think he did.
Yeah, he actually mainlined it.
He was,
I think I was reading, like, when I took high school
was in the
history,
outtakes.
they said something about
They
Harry
slipped
Potter
it to Hermione.
inventing it or something like that.
Oh, yeah, she was big on that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She's a Corona drinker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You didn't put the you didn't put the first spice in there just for the Novocaine quality, did you? I mean, you weren't just going to
numb your tongue.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about Hermione, actually.
Yeah.
So am I. That's why I can't stand up.
I'm actually reading the Harry Potter books again as we speak.
Again. You would, again.
Great.
That's not what you have in your hands. Don't lie to me.
In case something changed.
All right, Bevo has been dismissed. There is no chat room to moderate
right,
or phone to answer. Thank you for your service today, Bevo. You've done great.
Yeah, you were good servicing.
Appreciate the ball
Finish
discussion.
your beer before you leave.
Yes. Or take it with you. Put it in a sippy cup.
Yeah.
You've got cup holders, right?
Ball tea.
In the car. Okay.
Baltic Porter? I didn't think it was a Baltic
What beer did we just pour here now? Moving on to the one you've just... did you see, JP?
I did not.
What is it? What does it taste like? Come on, you guys.
Belgian.
Yeah.
These lightweights or what?
Belgian, like Golden Strong, if we're talking styles.
Yeah, it does have a...
Golden Thong.
Yeah.
That's the...
This is the new Golden Thong from Moonlight Brewing Company.
It's the new room in the Gold Club.
The Golden Thong.
Tastes like beer.
You can have that, Brian. We give it to you.
Thank you. I kind of like that. I think I actually have trademarked that.
A Sonoma farmhouse ale, I figure.
A Sonambic.
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 Salambic.
Is it a bit lambic? Were you trying to go for that?
No.
Okay, good. Because I don't get that.
But it's natural. Okay.
Same thing. It tastes like a Belgian yeast was used. It's got those
Peppery.
Belgian esters.
Right. Yes, you're right.
It also tastes dry. Really, like there's some Pilsner malt, and you really dry it out just like Chad said, like a Golden Strong.
Any
Although
other comments?
it doesn't taste very strong. It's pretty smooth, actually.
Guys, you got to drink your beer. I mean, instead of just like having the glass there, like.
I don't think this is one of your beers.
Actually, it's not.
Yeah, I think this is.
What if I told you this is a wheat beer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
believe it.
Okay. Anybody else believe it or think it's a pile of horseshit?
Maybe not all wheat. 50%.
No,
I don't
well,
taste.
you can't make a beer that's all wheat. That's why barley is civilization.
That's why I call it
Barley is.
beer.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I taste wheat.
Did you like
No,
it?
I
Did
do.
you hate it? Did
I
you...
love it. Actually, I think it's great beer.
What is this beer? I can't remember.
It's Coors Banquet, isn't it?
Yes.
You just kept it. You kept it out in the heat for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I like this beer quite a bit.
No, it's Saison-y.
It's not the same as in your glass, is it? Yours is cloudy and mine's not.
I just got the.
Oh, I got the drag.
Oh, you got the end. I see.
Should I reveal it?
It's kind of Saison-y.
All right, JP's going to reveal. Oh, it's a Saison Dupont.
I thought it was Saison-y.
Gotta love this beer.
It's a really nice beer.
So, what the hell is this beer?
Why do you love this beer, Brian?
It's a farmhouse ale.
What the hell is this? Saison. I mean, season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a beer where they had a farm. They make whatever they make, like grains. And actually, there's pigs and some other stuff at the farm. Wintertime comes, you really can't do much in the field. What do you do with all the labor? I've got a part-time person, Jeff, that works for me as an intern. And, you know, when it's really slow, wait a minute, it never is slow in the brewery. God damn it. I'd like to farm him out and have him do something else more useful. But, so if you have a farm and you don't have things to do after you're seeding the wheat, you're harvesting the wheat, you're weeding or whatever, what do you do all winter with that labor?
Malt some barley.
You either pay unemployment or you make beer. Fucking A.
You got to get high. You got to get high somehow.
They didn't have pot.
You're on
over
the
there,
farm, right? So where's the alcohol? You got to make it.
Right, exactly. Okay, so what is this beer? To me, a saison is a wheat beer, and I don't know anybody else that says that. But this beer is what, a third to 40% wheat. To me, this beer, besides the fact that I love it, it's phenomenal. And those of you that can't have a Saison Dupont,
suck it.
Saison Dupont, my apologies to you. Yeah.
Because the way you said
like
it?
that.
You're going to start cackling in a second, I think.
Yeah. But
I like it.
I've heard of so many people wanting to start breweries. I'm going to start a small brewery and make Saisons. Well, do you have a fucking clue what a Saison is?
Sounds like Jay Leno's going to start a brewery now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Saison.
As you know, Conan's has got a shitload of money. He doesn't know
He
what
should
to
do
do
it,
with
right?
it.
Yeah, let's tell them to open a
Okay,
brewery.
so anyway, what is a Saison?
we
had this BTCP weekend. It's so much pH and so much alcohol and so much percent sugar, and we can make this. Oh, my ass.
I'm just a normal guy. I just testing pH.
If you imagine you got a bunch of wheat, you got a bunch of barley, you got a bunch of free labor.
Free
because
labor,
There's nothing
yeah.
much to do when it's like snowing outside.
Yeah.
What's the best you could possibly do? You are
Orgy.
paying the labor. You have bought the ingredients because you've grown them. What the hell are you going to do to make yourself really enjoy life the rest of the goddamn year?
Heroin.
You're going to make the best possible beer you have with the ingredients that you have.
Yeah.
I don't want to think that anybody went online. No, a couple hundred years ago, went online and found out the parameter of the Saison and went, oh, I could make a Saison. It's, so many pounds of this and so many pounds of... No. You have
I'm
wheat.
waiting for the poignant moment.
You have barley. What's the... Justin, come on. You have some wheat and you have your barley. It's like a quarter. Well, listen, you can't make more than half wheat or else it's going to be a pain in the ass to louder.
Yeah.
So, okay, what are you going to make that's got a bunch of wheat because wheat is cheaper than barley and you've just grown both of them?
I'm going to make a Saison.
What is a Saison?
It's that.
Well, how about all the guys that made crappy Saisons that just didn't make it? And you were making the best one. And yours just always outshone everybody else's. You're going to keep making that thing. And you're going to keep making it better. And all the other guys are going to keep trying to take all they got yours is better.
Yeah, okay, so...
That's what comes through.
All that farm labor, you think they're going to work for you, or are they going to work for somebody else?
They're in the wintertime especially. You're making more beer. They're not selling anything.
All right, you guys are losing
wait a
me.
minute.
What's the point
Let's
here?
back up.
Let's get to the point.
You're running a farm. Your farm's growing barley and wheat and cows and pigs and whatever else you're growing.
Summertime.
And whenever you can. And you're trying to hire the best labor you can because, it's cost effective and that sort of stuff. You make crappy-ass beer. You think your staff's going to hang around? Or you compare it to your Saison du Pont, and you have this farm, which actually we got a brewery as well, and they got a bakery as well, and some other stuff, and you make beer that tastes like this. Who's gonna kind of get the best employees?
So you're saying they stuck around because the beer was good to drink, it was an employee perk, and that's why
do you think we're all
Saison
here?
exists?
Would you?
I probably would, yeah.
That's how he gets free labor.
I probably just feel a lot better about life in general. Sure, yeah.
The farms
nice
in the
beer to
wintertime,
drink, and
the farms in the wintertime aren't going to be doing anything else, and they're going to be making beer.
Okay, so why in the hell would I bring this beer if it's like only so-so? Oh, wait a minute. Actually, it's pretty damn...
right.
I keep saying these things, but it's okay, apparently.
It's a
pretty
wonderful
damn
beer.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the Saison? Oh, my God. It sure as hell better taste like this. If you...
Yeah.
I don't mean you, I'm pointing to you.
Sure. But it could be me. I'm a home brewer, so
if you or any other person were to make a Saison, or something you call a Saison, and it weren't as good as a Saison du Pont, oh, come on. You're not going to get the good employees. You're going to get the guys that are like drunk and show up in the morning, and they can't even hold their liquor.
Yeah, look at us. We're not getting paid at all.
These guys got the people that can hold their liquor because they appreciated their damn beer. Their beer is amazing.
Yes, it is.
And if anybody tries to make a Saison in this country, you drink a bottle of Saison du Pont. If you can't touch that,
then don't. Is that what you're saying?
Please don't call your crap a Saison. Because if you try to copy a style from some other part of the world, and it's like, that is good, but let's just say I knew a brewery that was in the East Bay some years ago, and they made a beer and it kind of got an infection to it,
Yeah.
And they said, well, we call it an Abbey style because if we call it an Abbey style, they wouldn't,
nobody will
know what
notice.
to think about. Yeah. And they sold it as that.
That's a crime.
So what does that do to Abbey styles? Right. It makes people think, oh my God, Abbey styles taste like crap, don't they? No. Listen, if you as a small brewer, home brewer, dare call your beer a Saison, you sure as hell better make it worthy of what a Saison is.
I can't argue with that.
Or don't call your beer a Saison.
Can't argue. I mean, the man is speaking the truth.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Suppose you took your beer in a bottle to Belgium, and you went to me, this is the penultimate Saison du Pont.
Yeah.
You took your beer to the brewer and said, I made a Saison, oh my God, try this. And they went, oh my God, I'm going to puke. Excuse me, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now, why in the fuck did you call your beer Saison if it tastes like that? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow.
And it saddens me more than even the word sad can handle for the number of people that have tried to say, I'm going to start small brewery, I'm going to make Saison, some other things. Oh, yeah, do you even know what a Saison is?
Okay, what about... I'm gonna. Sorry to do this to you, but I have to do it. I'm gonna turn it around on you because I wonder your opinion about it. No, I'm going to stop you first
and ask you, how come you haven't asked me about the Saison I've made?
I don't want it because I want to ask about another beer that I know about because I tasted it.
I'm going to ask you somebody else. How come you haven't asked me?
I can just turn them off. You don't know that.
I didn't even know you made a Saison.
No, I frankly can't handle it yet. I don't know how to make a Saison.
What about your reality check pills? Are you then saying that you're confident enough that that is a check pills? You're allowed to call it that because you've mastered
If you've been
it.
to my website, you'll recognize that I claim this beer is authentic to the west coast of the Czech Republic, as authentic as you can get, because I take the water and I deionize the hell out of it. It's actually one of the more expensive beers that I make. oddly enough more expensive than the IPAs that have, as you know, hops have kind of gone up in price. Okay, it's still to make the Pilsner, the water is more expensive than any other water I make, and really puts a significant dent in the price compared to even my IPA.
Yeah.
But having been to Prague and tasted the beers, either I had to move to Prague or make this beer.
Yeah.
And moving to Prague would have some of the complications.
But by your own standard, because you use the word Czech Pils in it, then you have... I'm just asking if you're comfortable calling it a Czech
Are you
Pils.
close enough to where you feel good?
Yeah, as long as you recognize that I have spelled it CZECK, and
you have an opt-out clause.
And
that that's a cop-out,
Step
Brian.
up, Brian.
And that within the style, I've recognized. I mean, even because of different parts of the Czech Republic, and they have their own styles within.
Yeah.
Then mine is more on the West Coast style.
Okay.
Now, the Northern style, I did have a fellow from the Czech Republic describe to me that he felt mine was more of the Northern style where the hops are grown because it's hoppier than the average Czech Pils. I believe I'm more on the West Coast style.
Okay. I want to tell you that it is, before today, one of the beers I've tried, before today that you came with some other beers, it's my favorite beer that you brew, your Reality Check Pils. And if I see it at a bar and I see Death and Taxes and a couple others, I always order the Reality Check. But I just wanted to, yeah, I don't. But I did, I just wanted to make sure that you stand by your own standards.
And I should be honest, there is no Czech Republic that has, I should say there is no West Coast of the Czech Republic.
I was going to say, isn't that
It is a landlocked country.
Landlocked
and
country.
it's amazing.
There's no West Coast.
The rivers
There's a West
of it,
border.
yes, do.
You go on the west bank of the river.
The western border.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a
That's
valid,
confusing, isn't it?
valid question, I think. All right.
I got a pertinent question for Brian.
We'll see.
Brian, do you have any other beer
be the
in your
judge of
little
that.
hopper over there?
Yeah, go ahead and pop the next one.
And now we've got more. All right.
Good, because
Start passing
I'm
glasses
empty.
down. Well, there are 2 friggin' kegs over there.
Yeah, what was now the other keg? We've talked about the oh, good Lord.
The Artemis is one,
Thank
and the
you.
Working for Tips is the other.
And now the Working for Tips, that's my favorite of the two. Now I do like the Artemis quite a bit. That's the one we were talking about where
Your face
the
is
thing
numb.
I picked up on the numbness. Although it's kind of a body numb too. I really enjoy that. But the
No,
the
but
Working
wait a
for
minute
Tips
here.
I prefer. Working for Tips is such a smooth, nice, kind of easygoing beer. Has no hops in it like we talked about. I'd like to discuss that beer a little bit because I think it's wonderful.
I'd be happy to discuss it too, but let's just put this in perspective a second, Justin.
You thought it was going to be that easy?
If we think...
just get a beer?
Not with me.
Yeah.
Guys, bring your glasses over, would you?
We do.
I think we have a need for this. Just 1 second. Sorry, we got to rinse our glasses here because drinking is...
You've lost the show.
For those of you that are listening, drinking is a very serious thing, and I don't know how many of you really understand how the importance of drinking is to...
it's got to be proper, baby.
It's got to be proper. Yes. And anyway. So you asked me a question, Justin, and I'm afraid I spaced it so much.
It's okay.
Has to do with drinking, I think.
Well, I did. I wanted. You didn't care what my question was. I wanted to talk about the Working for Tips.
Yes,
but you didn't like that.
No, I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure we pass these beers all around. Working for Tips.
Yeah.
Working for Tips is the first beer that I made that did not have hops.
Okay.
And it was pretty much a scary proposition to make because, that's frankly wrong on more accounts than I don't know. I haven't lost any fingers yet, but
that's good.
I can't really focus on my fingers. I think it's a lot.
I have 20 fingers.
That's many fingers.
We're handing out beers.
Just 1 second. I think Just needs to drink this.
Okay. Is that one mine there or this one? Okay.
This one's mine.
Justin,
that one's yours.
You're over that, dude. Don't worry about it.
Justin.
Okay.
Justin.
So the Working for Tips. The Working for Tips is a beer that has no hops. And I chose to make it with what I thought was local to the brewery because not just low carbon footprint because some people don't believe in that sort of they think that's crap.
I do.
Thinks
I don't think it's. I think it's crap.
Yeah, because I don't use carbon in any of my beers. There's no carbon involved.
Yeah.
Mine either.
Yes.
Or on your feet?
No, we don't use carbon in beers. So the Working for Tips has has flavoring from redwood trees, the tips of the branches of the redwood trees.
I said tips.
Tips, yes, pronounce the P if you would, please. It's very distinct flavor and a lot of citrusy flavors.
Yeah.
Rounded flavors.
Depending how you think of that. I like to think of them
flavors.
I like
Rounded
to think of the more
flavors with
pointed
darkened
aspects
centers.
of it. Yes.
What else is in it besides the spruce tips? Because
No, redwood.
Oh, sorry, but besides the redwood tips.
Malt. There's actually malt. There's water and yeast. All of those in the same beer.
So it's beer.
I think it's beer.
If you believe that.
Oh, man.
Okay, so
it's beer. It's beer.
What I was trying to accomplish with this beer.
You're making me quit.
Interviewing Bill Clinton.
Are you happy now?
What
I quit.
is sex?
I've never had sex with this tree, really.
Yeah, but I've eaten it.
I've tried.
Not that you've caught on camera, anyway.
Oral sex?
All right. So we've now been poured another beer.
I certainly orally consuming this.
This is another mystery beer.
The phones are ringing. Should we take just random phone calls?
Yeah, or what the hell?
What we're talking about.
I get some like peat, like it smells kind of like an Islay or something.
I'm getting that peat thing.
So those of you that are listening, though,
Like Band-Aid.
the beer that has just been poured is not the Working for Tips. This is another beer,
yes,
which we don't know what it is. Some of us because we don't know, and some of us because we're incompetent to comprehend.
I think it's also not Brian's beer. Am I wrong this time?
It's like a Russian Imperial Stout.
But with like that peated
malt or something.
iodine Band-Aid Scotch thing going on,
Which I find offensive.
I really like it.
I don't like it.
I really like it.
But you should, Justin.
Justin, do you like
your problem?
When you smell a
I should like it.
Justin, when you smell a skunk, are you offended or you go, that ain't so bad?
Smells better than me is what I like to think.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
Because
but he would.
they say if you're not offended by the skunk smell, then you're more likely to like peated Islay malts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
If you
guess
get
I'm
kicked
not
in the
offended.
junk, are you offended or
When I smell skunk, I think that Tasty and Chad are hanging out.
Yeah, which they probably are.
But okay,
With the dank.
you run over a skunk in your car and you're thinking, oh shit, I'm fucked for
Yeah,
a
it's
week.
bad.
I'm fucked for a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good thing, though.
I just I
not
don't
how
like.
you meant it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm just real sensitive to anything medicinal, any kind of that
Band-Aidy
that
kind of
Band-Aidy thing. I just
too many sucrettes as a kid.
Now the aftertaste of this beer is quite rich and complex and nice, but it just the kind of foretaste or why you're drinking it it's just to me.
I find nothing wrong with this.
I find it a little offensive.
If this beer's been aged, how would you feel differently?
If it had been aged,
yes.
I don't know.
Suppose this is an aged.
It depends
beer.
on if the peat had dropped out. So you're telling me that this is I'm assuming now that this is aged, and this is how it tastes aged. I think it needs to age longer.
I find nothing wrong
right
with
out of my
this.
fridge.
I think that the peat needs to back down a little more still.
Yeah, I'm with Doc. This is a very good beer.
No, I find nothing wrong with this at all, in any aspect of it.
Okay.
Just can I ask you for a second? What does it say in the back of your glass there?
No, it does say, well, which part? The back? It's a round glass.
Fresh beer is like...
Go around it then.
Can you...
Fine beer is like live music.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? Say again?
Fresh beer.
Sorry, you're right. Lighting.
What is happening?
Fresh beer, it says on the glass, fresh beer is like live music. Stale beer is like listening from the parking lot.
I've had some good times in the parking lot.
Yeah, really.
I'm not saying that you haven't, not saying that I haven't either, but is it the same as being in
No, I wish I was
No,
inside
usually
listening to the
You have a
music.
collar?
All right.
Every time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you? So is it fresh or is it stale? Come on. Need some answers here.
This is
finally,
aged.
This is aged.
Yeah. But what do you get? Talk to me. What do you get? I mean,
I
give me a
told you
sense
what
of
I
taste. All right, anybody else in the room? Come on. What do you get in this beer?
I get a high alcohol sweetness.
You're easy drunk.
I don't get any of that sherry.
A nice toastiness to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got roasty that's really nice.
But real nice roasty, and it finishes out kind of tart.
It's total shit. I'm kidding, Brian. I'm totally
I don't get any.
It's
I don't get
not
any of
true.
like the sherry kind of oxidized notes that you would.
No, I don't get the
like,
sherry oxidized notes.
find.
No shit. I just brought home beer from this brewery. As a matter of fact,
I've seen this and I wanted to buy it.
Himmel und Ard.
I gave Doc their Eisbach.
Oh, I had that last night. It was fucking excellent.
This is from De Molen.
Yeah.
Brewery in Holland.
I had another beer there that was shit too.
Himmel and Earth.
How much
we obviously know you
have some more?
taste.
It's you, not the beer.
It was their Amarillo IPA.
Well, this is Amarillo.
It was
Right?
not good. Although I did have, I will say, the reason I brought some of their beer back is I tried 5 of their beers. 4 of them were fantastic, and it was just the one Amarillo IPA I didn't like.
Would you read to me
it
the
was
label?
cool.
What's it say, Justin?
All right, let's see what's in this
Can you
beer.
pour and read at the same time?
If I can ask one thing, I just want to put
American
out...
hop, bittering hops nugget, 96 EBUs, final hop Amarillo, made with the most heavily peated malt in the world from the Brooklyn Distillery.
Say dick again.
Stiller's malt.
Recommended drinking temperature. This is what I do love about this brewery. They really put a lot of information on the bottle. This beer will be good for 25 years if kept cool and dark.
And away from
somebody drinks beer.
OG
yeah.
was
Away from Justin?
11.
Does it say that? It's Flemish. It says Houston.
Houston?
It does, actually. 9.5%.
It seems like more.
Yeah, it seems big.
Seems a little bigger than that.
It started at 11. This one went to 11. And then the
11.
final gravity was
Turned up
10
to 11.
was 1030. It was brewed in December of 08 and bottled in January of 09. I don't know. I'm going to stand by my claim that it's too much peat malt. Although, by reading the label, I'm right. I'm fucking right. It says
you're right?
it's the most heavily peated malt in the world.
We can't have it if you're a wuss.
I agree. I've never been accused otherwise, I'll be honest with you.
I wouldn't want to age that.
Well, they didn't say how much of it they used.
No, I've
Too much.
Too much.
Drinking some Kalila that's just like taking the paint off the walls.
No,
Caller,
but to me,
you're on the air.
This is nothing like
beer.
that.
Dude, that's so trippy. I don't know if I'm not going to tell him.
What's he talking to?
I don't know.
Hey,
Maybe
caller,
it could be
you're
more
on the
fun
air.
than
What's
show.
happening,
Listen
brother?
in.
Talk out loud.
Yeah, he's listening. He's waiting.
Talk.
For a girl like you. I wouldn't age
Whatever.
this for 25 years. I like it
How
right
do you
now.
know? What would this taste like in 25
I don't
years?
know. Well, then I think you would get kind of the
What would
sherry
happen?
things. The hops would kind of die down a little bit. The malt would probably die down a little
All
bit.
be left would be the peat.
Oh, yeah.
but that would die down a little
Brian,
bit too. And
where'd you get that beer?
ought to wait.
This beer is a gift from Urbain of Distress Breweries.
Ah, cool.
The delightful brewery in Belgium.
Yeah. Some of the
And,
best beer in the world. They're coming out of that brewery.
Amazing sort of stuff that he and they make. And I enjoyed spending some time with them. And actually, I took over a bottle of the, not the Working for Chips, but the other one.
Yeah.
And it was well appreciated. It was kind of fun.
I've got a Destroysa collaboration beer they did to share with you tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, since you're a fan and you got to hang out with Urbane. I've not tried the beer yet, actually, but he gave me a bottle, and it's a collaboration with another brewery. I'll have to read the bottle. We'll do it. I got to take a break anyway. We'll come back on the last
P2
segment. Yeah, but I'd love to share it with you now that I see you have you're a fan of the Destroysa Boys too, and this was a nice collaboration beer they did. So you've been so generous bringing us this nice stuff and abusing my palate. And my tastes, I will add.
Pretty amazing.
So that's the only things I've abused?
I
failed.
That I would love to share. I'm going to respond in kind, and I'm going to turn the other cheek, Brian, and share a beer with you.
Oh, my God.
Fair enough.
Well, why did you bring this beer? I mean, does it have anything to do with your kind of outlook on making a beer? What ingredients you should be using and what you shouldn't be using? Or?
That excellent question.
Oh,
I've never tried this beer.
Well, I'm just reading off the page that you wrote. So
I thought you people would be a great group to share this beer with, because otherwise I could drink this all by myself, and that'd be kind of crude.
You sit in your room and smile. Yeah. How much fun is that?
Yeah, how much fun is that? I mean,
a lot of fun,
I can
trust
hold it
me.
for 25 years, but then drink it by myself.
Yeah,
it'd be more fun to share it this way, and even better than that is to harass the people listening to this show, knowing that
they can't have any.
You guys can't have any of this.
It is pretty amazing.
I'm truly sorry, except when I'm not.
All right, let me do this. A quick. Well, here, that caller's bad. Daniel.
Oh God, excuse me 1 second. This is really good.
Oh, I think he's not on there anymore. Oh, he hung up anyway.
This is like really amazing beer. And for those of you not drinking this beer currently, this is really delightful
really good
stuff. Yeah.
They have it at Monument, too.
More delightful beer coming up when we come back, and we're going to wrap things up with Brian Hunt. No things to give away tonight because we have no live listeners or callers, so we'll save it all for next week. How about that? Hang in there. It's the
Save
session.
it up.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Hi, this is Push from the Brewing Network, and I want to tell you about the Brewmaster's Warehouse and how you can get 10% off your next order. I'm a pretty techie guy, but I've never seen an online store like this. It's awesome. Go to brewmasterswarehouse.com and click on Brew Builder. You can whip up a custom recipe so easily even Sven could do it. Seriously, it's slick. You can share your recipe with your own logo and notes to the Brewmaster's database if you want. And the best part, it keeps a running tally of the beer you're building while you're doing it. Then bam, click Buy Recipe and your cart is filled and ready to go with helpful suggestions in case you forgot something. This thing is amazing. Brewmaster's Warehouse is run the way a home brewer would do it, with great service, fast turnaround, and $6.99 flat rate shipping. Brewmaster's Warehouse and the Brew Builder blew me away. Check it out today at brewmasterswarehouse.com. I'm serious. And don't forget to put BNARMY in the discount code box for 10% off your order. Check out brewmasterswarehouse.com. Cheers.
When Blickman Engineering set out to design a great brewing stand, they knew it had to be strong, adaptable, and last for a lifetime. The top-tier brewing stand is now proudly available at BlickmanEngineering.com. It grows with your brewing skills and equipment. Start with 5-gallon coolers on its heavy-gauge stainless steel shelves. Then move all the way up to 30-gallon pots on the high-output burner tiers. Speaking of burners, the custom Blickman Engineering top-tier burners are extremely powerful, efficient, and amazingly quiet. They have safety stops to center your pot, and they'll last a lifetime and won't rust. The top-tier brewing stand allows virtually infinite combinations from traditional gravity systems to 2 tiers to completely horizontal. Configure your stand the way you want and have the freedom to change it at any time in the future. Your brewing stand should adapt with you, not force you to learn a new process. Visit BlickmanEngineering.com today to configure your top-tier brewing stand and to find a local Blickman retailer. You'll be surprised with all the flexible features and the competitive price. Start brewing with Blickman from the top tier.
Downtown Joe's, located in the historic Oberon building in beautiful downtown Napa, California, offers an award-winning brew pub experience from 8:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. every day. For 15 years at the corner of 2nd and Main, Downtown Joe's has been voted Best Night Spot 7 times and Best Brew Pub for the last 4 years in a row. Brewmaster Colin Kaminsky's handcrafted ales, like his Tail Wagon Amber Ale and Double Secret Probation IPA, are the perfect accent to riverside dining, live music, and a relaxing outdoor patio. Don't miss the Beer of the Month, special rotating taps, and the BN Army Member Special. Wear your BN gear, get 10% off your beer. Visit downtownjoes.com to make reservations, peruse their extensive calendar of events, or just read more about their fantastic beers. Come enjoy the fine beer, food, and music. Downtown Joe's, the award-winning brew pub where you'll feel at home.
What's going on, man? Oh my God, it was the best time. We hit like more than 30 breweries and totally the best of the best, you know. 21st Amendment, Russian River, Firestone, the brewery dudes, Lagunitas, friggin' Triple Rock, the Double Daddy guys, Speakeasy, Linden, and Firehouse, Gordon B's, Drake's, dude, on and on. Ale Industries, Moonlight. It was totally awesome, and it was the first annual. You know, I got to be at the birth, the inception. You only get one first time, baby. What's that? Oh, it was the Brewing Network's first annual Winter Brews Festival.
I just sat down and went, what do we want? And that's how we tried to plan this.
Live music, great food. Oh man, it was Saturday, January 30th. You really should have gone. Check out thebrewingnetwork.com on tap to see what you missed, or did you?
The first annual Brewing Network Winter Brews Festival is coming up January 30th. Don't miss it.
What's funny is brewers will say, yeah, I don't brew to style. I'm brewing my own beer. And it's like a German Pilsner, but it's black. Yeah, it's a sports beer. You know?
the home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
Radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
you're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer,
Radio shouldn't suck.
All right, ladies, welcome back to the program. Wrapping things up. It's our last segment.
I'm a man. I'm not a
Brian,
lady.
what are you, blabberglop now?
I'm a man.
All right. Last segment of the program. A couple more beers to try. Nothing to give away. I did see the phone ringing. We could possibly take random calls. They have no idea what's happening on the show.
What do you mean there's only 2 more beers left? I want more than 2.
Well, there's the off-air. There's the on-air couple beers, and then there's the off-air. It's a whole other.
You want to try to screen, or
a whole other show
or
that
just take
happens. We want to go straight to a call. Let's talk to Joshua, who's online. Joshua, what's happening, brother?
Come on.
Holy Christ.
I don't know how to.
Dead air is no good.
I don't know what to do without a call screener.
Don't make me come over there.
I wonder if it's really, since the internet's down, the phone should be down too.
Yeah.
Phone's there. How am I going to just take random calls if you guys aren't there when I...
You would make up a call, just pretend like someone's calling.
Actually, Justin...
What the fuck are you talking about? This beer totally must suck because it doesn't have hops.
Well, that's not beer then, is it?
Do I need to help you with this?
I guess you don't. Just have Chad go stand in the other room and do his chick voice and call in.
Chad,
just call in and tell Brian he's full of shit, will you? I mean, this is ridiculous.
You're full of shit.
How's he going to sit here for 4 hours and not be told he's full of shit?
Come on, what's one more person in telling him he's full of shit?
Oh, boy.
I need more than just like people like looking at me and having me talk and drink beer.
Need that.
Someone's got to say you're full of shit.
Otherwise, I don't feel like this has been a success.
It wouldn't feel the same as if I told you that, would it?
Chad,
you need somebody from anonymous, somebody on the telephone.
You're not built the same way.
Yes.
Let me see that bottle there, Tasty. So I brought this beer back from the Destresa fellas. They now, if you go to the brewery, they actually sell not only their own beer, but they're a bit of a bottle shop now. So you can buy other people's beers too.
Which is where this beer, the Heaven and Earth, came from.
Oh yeah, you got it from their bottle shop too, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
A gift of Urbane.
So this one's called Pipe Dream, and it's a joint venture between Alvin, which Brian says he knows. He's been
yes, it's a small brewery starting up in Kortrijk.
Okay.
Belgium.
In Belgium, yeah. Destresa and Pipeworks Brewing Company, which might be an American.
Out of Chicago, I think.
It's a Chicago brewery, yeah. It's an American-inspired IPA using 5 hop varieties to satisfy the discerning hophead, it says.
Obviously, he's sick.
5 is a start. That's a good start.
They got to use up their quota.
That's too many, dude.
It's 7.8% ABV.
37%?
Yeah, it's 37% ABV.
Nice.
Can't even tell.
Yeah, it's pretty hoppy. It's nice.
Woo.
They have the ingredients listed, but they're all in Flemish.
Why don't you read them?
Read them.
Water.
I thought Flemish wasn't a written language.
It's at the very top. It's actually, you could...
No, really, Flemish isn't a written language.
It tastes like
Dutch.
Tastes like a corn dog.
I don't know. Tastes like a corn dog.
Tastes like a corn dog.
Corn log.
This would be wienery, I think.
Is this our first actual wienery beer?
I think it's our first actual wienery beer. Actually, I know somebody who's going to try to brew a
corn
wienery
dog
beer.
It doesn't smell wienery.
Tastes wiener.
No, it doesn't taste. It doesn't.
It smells
smell
like
wiener.
feet.
Who's going to brew a wienery beer?
Monsters and Pies. He has his whole.
Is he a WoW friend?
No, he's a being guy.
Oh,
he has his whole plan to brew an actual
like
wienery beer.
Though pretty girl feet, but it still smells like feet.
Pretty
girl.
I have to say, this might be, and this is nice coming fresh off the last show, and my me bitching about hoppy Belgian style beers. This might be the first hoppy beer done in a Belgian style that I like.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice. The hops come through.
Yeah, you don't like that Belgian-y hoppy.
I don't like that estery yeast together with hops in general. But this one,
like our guy, the previous guest on the show said,
nice,
that it's the
actually.
hops that make the difference.
Yeah, the yeast always comes through a little too strong. This is nice. The hops are a little more.
Well, I wonder
the
if
yeast
they,
is a little more.
I wonder if they even use the traditional Belgian yeast. I don't get that.
No, I get the
spice.
Belgian yeast. Yeah,
I get a saison yeast,
Yeah.
kind of that spicy kind of thing coming through.
But I'm not getting West Coast hops. I don't think this is the hops that they use in Chicago.
But I don't know if that was the hops. I mean,
No,
you know,
this is not
is it a
Last
hop
time I
spicy?
checked, Tasty,
It's not San
Chicago was
Diego.
not West Coast.
Well, except that they're, an IPA is, often
Well, I mean, but
CTZ.
what hop? Do you know what hops they're using? Because I mean,
Nah.
it could be like some spicy Czech hops. Or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
what I'm thinking they are, like some
and
noble
then, and then
hops.
maybe it's like
God, I
clean
feel
yeast.
like we're the View or something right now.
Brian,
That's
what
the
do
way it
you-
always sounds. You
what do you
taste
think of
beer
the
in
beer?
the
You
air.
finished it. What do you think of the beer?
I haven't finished it. There's a tiny bit sip left here.
Yeah, Justin.
You know, there's a problem with Belgian beers.
They're not all in your belly right now.
No, they
drink too fast.
There's that too, yes, but they seem to have this feeling like subtlety and balance is like important. And if the Belgian brewers would all come to, like, say, San Diego, I think in San Diego they could learn a whole different way of looking at life, and they would change their incorrect way of looking at life.
They'd see hotter chicks, that's for sure.
Well,
There's no balance there.
I
Big
bet
chicks.
That's true.
Yeah,
I've been to both places.
Yeah, in Belgium, it's a little colder than San Diego, and you have to
they're fatter.
Wear more. No, not necessarily. They just covered more.
Yeah, I see. What you're saying.
So,
It's a nice way to say it.
I'm fatter.
To me, this is delightful.
They're covered in more fat.
But you think the beer's it's nice? Isn't
Yes, but if you're in Belgium, you'd like more fat. You see, if you're in San
Yeah, well,
Diego,
that's
you're
true.
not big on that. You
You
give
like
me a
silicone.
surfboard and someone that's got anorexic, and it's like,
and
Well,
that's all you need.
Well,
I'm
let's
pro
face it.
that.
Let's face it. I think everybody in here would do better with the women in Belgium than they would in San Diego.
That's true. We would maybe.
Yeah, well, because I don't have a flat bill on my hat and my truck's not 18 feet.
But we
off
are
the ground.
classless shitheads, so we might not do even well in Belgium.
I got money.
I class up a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can unconjugate words. Have not.
Unconjugate?
Do not.
Disconjugate?
Yeah. Deconjugation. Fuck it.
I can drink in Belgium
It's the
more.
new beer from Vinny.
Okay, next.
Deconjugation.
Deconjugation.
Yeah. It's the new Shun beer.
Next.
I like this beer. I think
Brian's got the right
You don't
idea.
like it, Jim.
Next.
It's too spicy. I don't like it.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
Saaz hops. I think it's Saaz. It's spicy.
Yeah, I don't care for it. It tastes like corn dogs with Saaz hops. I just not my favorite, but I really appreciate you sharing it.
So like Coney Island West.
So we're also going to open a 2006 Panapot Reserva that the Destroysa boys were nice
So,
enough to share.
are you into drinkability? Is that where you're going with that?
Well,
Drinkability?
I think it needs drinkability, and I think it might need to be colder. But the Drake's guy playing Washoes isn't blue, so I don't know if it's cold enough.
That's no good for the radio, JP. You're going to have to be more specific.
Can I be a
in
little
your
more
jokes.
cold for you?
I mean, I hate to call you out on that,
Yeah,
but you made a
of
joke
all
about
the people
glass.
here, and now I'm suddenly because you're fed
a
up.
veteran.
Because you're fed up
No,
with everybody else's
because
awful
you
jokes.
know better.
You pick on me
Because you know better.
You're right.
You're
No,
making
you're right.
a glass joke.
You're right. You're right.
I can't even see the glass, and I'm in the room with you.
You're right.
So what are you saying?
That being said, it was a nice effort.
I like that beer. I liked it. It was.
Thank you.
To me, it didn't come
It's your beer,
together
you get
the
more of
way.
it.
No, has it gone around already?
It's gone around, but
Yeah,
I
I
figure
got
you
some.
get more of it.
To me, the previous beer didn't come
fucking
together
beer.
as well as it would be ideal, in the sense that I want a beer that totally comes together. I don't want parts of this and parts of that and parts of this. There's enough beers I've had that I like certain components of it, but it doesn't come together. I mean, you've read books or you've seen something where it just doesn't come together. Cars, there's some gorgeous colors of cars, but not on the shapes they have, you know?
Yeah.
It makes a difference. You look at some of these cars from the 40s and 50s and the grays and deep colors they have. Not deep, but pastel almost colors they have. They were great on the smooth curves.
Like distant cousins.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that
Do we
means.
share
nice.
cousins?
Yeah, they're not all quite there, but they're kind of smooth on the curves.
a brother.
So, but there's a time and a place for everything to work ideally, and this is a little awkward to me.
The Panapot?
The previous, no, I haven't-
the previous one.
I haven't been able to have the Panapot yet.
It's real cold anyway. You want that to warm up. Our chest freezers.
I didn't get enough to.
It's
make it
got some
really
icy
cold.
business going on.
See how
out
much
there.
I got?
chest
It
is
warms up
disappointing,
real quick.
Actually,
have more? Isn't there more in the bottle?
Yeah, there's
still?
more in the bottle. How come Doc got only a little tiny bit?
Because Shaddy's like crappy to me. So
because he needed something to bitch about.
I need nothing to bitch about.
I'll make it up.
I don't need anything more to bitch about.
All right, we're all doing the hand, the squeeze hand stroke.
Yeah, just don't squeeze mine, please.
Yeah, sorry.
it's kind of embarrassing to be next to you when you're doing that.
I really do love their beers.
friction.
Doc, that's not your glass.
Destroys it.
Okay.
Squeeze it.
All right, let me get out. So while we're waiting for these things to warm up, a non-traditional end to the show because we don't have Belgian candy sugar to give away with no phone calls and no drunk of the week phone calls. Let me just get out our announcements, and that way we can just end abruptly. Next week, Dan Gordon from Gordon Biersch is back in the studio with us.
That'd be good.
Listener favorite. Dan's coming back in. He's going to inaugurate Studio B for us. We've saved that for him. Technically, before tonight, we had worked out all the kinks of Studio B.
Wait a minute here.
And the major kink
last
is
time
back.
I was here, Dan Gordon is coming the following week. Is there something I should know?
Oh, is that right?
Is that really?
Yes.
Well, he'll be here to defend the Reinholds.
And yes, please ask him about that. And
Maybe
last
he
year I
plans
was asked
this.
something about don't trust like a skinny brewer.
Yeah.
Would you ask him? Why in the fuck he has to go to McDonald's all the damn time? Really?
I'll ask him.
Yeah. Really?
Why don't you trust Brian Hunt?
Yeah, maybe you want me to ask if he
Lay
trusts
off
you?
the French fries. Drink more beer. That's all I need to say. Lay off the French fries.
All right.
Come on, Justin. Repeat after me.
Lay off
the French fries. Drink more beer. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay. So Dan's with us.
Hopefully fryless.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, make sure we got plenty of fries, okay?
If he brings fries, I'm eating fries.
You know what he likes to do though? That's real cool. That'll be good for the inauguration. Is he brings those German casks that have, where you got to hammer in the tap.
Yeah. The cool thing is he carries it in himself.
That's true. I like that. All right, so we got that going on. The BN Winter Brews Fest is coming up Saturday. Come out and join us, please. And then we want to thank More Beer for being our 2009 sponsor. I'll thank them as much as possible. They are now the official sponsor of the session. And 2010, that's right. I actually wrote it 2009 even.
Justin, how come they didn't provide more beer for the guests?
The More Beer guys?
Yeah. Why don't they provide more beer?
Well, they
for
did
the
in a
guests?
way. We get the ingredients from them.
That's true. All of Chad's homebrew was More Beer.
Yeah, started there.
All right.
All right.
Okay, I'll let him off this time. But next time. Okay, and support the rest of our sponsors, too, because, they're the ones who make this happen. I've got more merch coming in. It's actually going to be here Friday to sell at the festival. I'm sure we'll have some left over. We always have some left over.
Why have a plan for that?
And I'll put that back in the store, next week. So
I have a plan for that.
That's true. To get rid of our BNA4 merch.
Yes,
giant sale.
You got to buy one of those to get anything else.
I've got a brilliant idea.
I got a brilliant idea, yes.
You should sell the shirts for, say, $5.
So we're going to be working the festival all day and then drinking into the night and then...
This is correct. We're going to be there at like 9 a.m. setting up.
And then entertaining Dan Gordon.
On the following day.
So this is going to be really fun.
Yeah,
so I
who
get to
thought
show
that
up
out?
this festival.
Yep.
I get to parade glasses of beer in front of you.
Correct.
Knowing that you're going to be there for hours.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that I have to do a show the following day.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Hey, who thought this one out?
What you ought to do, if you really want to have a laugh, is you ought to call in on the day after and see how shitty I'm feeling as I'm doing the program.
Call them at 9 in the morning.
That'll maybe not that, but call in during the show. Yeah, you'll hear it in my voice. I will sound like I'll sound bad.
How you look?
And that's a challenge.
I'll sound like I look.
And to all the listeners out there, I think that is a challenge.
Yeah.
Or if you buy Justin a whole bunch of beer.
I've predicted.
I don't think I need
buy
to.
me a bunch. You should buy me a bunch of beer.
Yeah,
if
buy
I
beer, sure.
JP, I have predicted that you will not make it to Sunday's program.
Why do you snarl when you said you?
You will not make this. And here's why. Let me tell you.
Of course I will.
It'll be a long ass day on Saturday.
Okay,
that's fine.
Okay,
and
how late is?
And then I need you back there early Monday. To do the. So I'm just.
How late are you going to be there?
I don't know if you can do
Saturday?
it, JP. I don't know if you've gone through the proper training to pull off the Sunday show after the 15-hour Saturday, followed by the
Well, we're all going to be there on
strict
Monday.
cleaning Monday.
Hey, we're all professionals.
We'll all be there Monday, right?
Okay.
It's not just going to be me.
No, well.
And I said I'll
it's
probably
not?
go. I'll probably go Sunday.
I thought it was just you. Of course, we'll all be there on Monday.
Right.
Come on.
Doing what?
Come on.
Nobody's going to be there Sunday.
I'll be
Doing
there
what?
Sunday. I'll start cleaning Sunday.
On Monday?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing what on Monday?
I don't drink. I don't get super hammered and all messed up. And
No, you just go home early.
I don't
I'll
do
work
that.
on you. He just goes home early.
So as soon as we sell out all the food in the Paxton JP booth,
you're out of there.
I'll have some beers and then.
Excuse me a second, Paxton. Can I talk about that?
Yeah,
sure.
Yes,
you do whatever you want.
What else is
Paxton,
new?
I mean, we all know him to be an amazing chef.
In bed. Oh, chef. Sorry. Yeah, he's a great chef.
There's that too, but
he's tall. He's a mutant.
You know, he doesn't share a lot that you people don't know about because in Sonoma County we have allowances to be where we are. Sonoma County is pretty rural.
Yeah,
unlike you, Pacheco, I guess that's pretty.
Hey, we're
kind
rural.
of suburban.
Yeah, we're unincorporated territory.
We're allowed
rural.
For example, for pigs, 25 chickens, and I think 1 steer is allowed in the rural Sonoma County zoning
what?
ordinances.
Per living room?
No, per
person.
Yeah,
per sexually active male in the household.
25 chickens and 1 steer.
1 sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, per address in
Okay.
an agricultural zone.
Okay.
Sonoma County, we're about agriculture. And I think Sean would totally appreciate the fact that that's one reason Sonoma County is what it is because of agriculture.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't tell you, maybe I shouldn't say this because I've been drinking too much.
You should say
And
it.
he's tried not to let me. All right, so I've had a lot. The things that he makes, the food that he makes, are amazing.
Yeah.
The things that he adds to the food and the creations he does. For any person listening, if you've had Sean's food, oh, God, your eyes ought to roll back in your head.
Yeah.
But you've been cheated.
Okay.
What Sean does, he doesn't tell you, oh, God, I'm going to get in trouble for this.
He caters.
No.
He buys everything from Kinder's.
Yeah, it's all from Quiznos.
Yeah.
He
what is
has 4 hogs. You're allowed actually 5.
He's a polygamist?
No. I don't want to know.
He rides motorcycles?
I wish he was.
But he feeds his hogs. The beer that he makes and the food that he makes from these, amazing, frankly, phenomenally amazing creations.
Yeah.
He has 1 hog each that he feeds these beers. And if you were to taste...
So no one else can hear.
when he butchers these hogs and you taste those... when he cooks this, oh my God, if there's anybody on this planet that can cook pork like Sean, oh my God, I don't know who that would be.
Is that the secret?
Yeah. I don't know, but you have
the
this
best
pork
chef.
with the same beer that he feeds to these hogs.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate beer pairing.
I agree. The hog had the beer. The man cooked with the beer.
You're drinking the beer.
You're drinking the beer. It is the ultimate beer pairing. Brian's right.
It's a pre-dinner pairing. It's
built in.
He doesn't tell people that he does this.
No, I get it.
Shit, I shouldn't have said that.
Gabby Johnson's right about Johnson being right.
Rabble robber.
I didn't get a harumph out
Brian
of
Johnson's right.
that. All right.
About Moonlight Johnson being right.
I could go on with those all night.
Rabble robber.
But you eat
Our barn hair,
that's fed
our
with the
my
beer.
hair, and Greg Rabbit, I'm going to grab him hair. Gabby Johnson right.
Okay.
Sean Paxton is a roarer.
Brilliant, man. But the fact is, he doesn't share with you that if he feeds that beer and that food to the hogs, and then you butcher those hogs and you eat those
That's
hogs as
incest.
pork with the beer that those hogs are fed on.
It's a circle. You know what's weird about Sean though? When he goes to pick out those pigs on Tuesday and they kill him, he's going to videotape it whole.
That is free.
They kill him?
He's going to video.
They kill him?
He's good. No, no.
They kill Sean?
Yeah,
now you
that's
call
how the
it
movie
ending.
ends.
That's how the festival ends.
If he's in the way.
That's the movie version.
He's going to go videotape himself picking out a pig, and then he's going to videotape them killing it, and then he's going to document the whole process.
And at the end, in the Lifetime special, Sean dies at the end of the whole process.
But it's worth it.
JP, what
for those of us that drink beer
cap
and appreciate food and beer pairings.
Would you do it?
No, I would give my life for that, and I know Sean would too.
Like that.
Poor little piggy.
Poor
Bye-bye,
Oinky.
pig.
So, I told him, I said,
Oh, sorry,
Oh, there's
Paxton.
the other one.
he's
Poor
going
little Paxton.
He's going to marinate those things, and when he brings them,
He's going to marry them?
To the location. It's California. You can do what you want.
Not yet.
I said I want you to take a picture of them alive.
Yeah.
And then dead?
And then no, just alive, and then we're going to name them when you get there, and then so we'll be serving, Bethany the pig, and we're going to put a picture of the pig, but how it was alive.
A little black
Can you put a
ribbon
dress
around
on
it.
Put a bow around it.
A little black
It's going to be
bow.
hilarious.
Make sure it's a nice
heels.
sunny day.
That'll sell a lot of pork sandwiches.
Put a face right on there.
Oh,
Bethany, here, girl.
Bethany's really.
Come here,
Did you
girl.
try Bethany?
You're going to be hungry.
Bethany's better than
Joan,
Sammy.
come here, Joan.
Oh, so cute.
I don't think he would waste the brains. I think he wants to save the blood too. He's going to save the blood for something weird.
Yeah, we'll be drinking that.
Because usually they jump
Monk's
right on
blood?
and they
You think that's
they
human
stab
monk's
them.
blood?
Yeah, they got this
Or is it
thick
pork
drunk.
monk's blood?
Pork monk's blood.
Because, for $20 in line, each pig can become an abbot.
I was going to say, can't you go and actually make
For
them
$10.
You ordain them.
an abbot yourself? I mean, you are you're
We be
the
abbots?
priest.
I'm going to have to research that.
So bread.
Holy crap!
So would it be bread?
I'm going to have to read my online materials.
That could be fun. I could save a lot of money that way.
Could you please hook up with Paxton on Tuesday and make these pigs abbots?
They're holy.
Bethany.
Oh,
All right. Our work here is done.
Are we done?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's just fade out. Don't play music.
Just nothing?
Yeah.
Oh, I want music.
Come on.
Thank
We
you,
got
everybody.
beer to drink.
Come on, baby.
We got beer to drink. You're supposed to talk about fresh hot beers. Come on.
I can't.
Really?
I
Come
can't do
on.
it.
We never did all the stuff we wanted.
This is a reason for you to come back, Brian. Come on.
Another
whatever.
4 years
fresh
or
hot
whatever
beers,
it
it
was.
tastes really good. How about
Now
that?
you've got to
Is
come
that
back
done?
to the East Bay again to do fresh hot beers with us.
Yeah.
Hey,
If
Brian.
you guys would have enough beer, maybe I'd come back. But I mean, you look around the room, I see like 10 glasses, 12 glasses,
All empty.
and maybe 4 of them have beer in them.
Because
really?
it's been drunk.
We're drinkers.
Dranked.
We're not fillers. We're drinkers.
We get yelled at if
Obviously.
they're full. We get yelled at if they're empty.
Yeah.
There is no middle ground.
No, Brian's
You're only
he's
yelling
on the
at
fringe.
the
He
if
said
they're
that.
full because there's only one of them full. It's not 2 of them.
I didn't
Oh,
see
that's
you
true.
getting up and getting me a beer.
All right, Brian. Thank you for coming down. You can go to Moonlight Brewing and check out all the wonderful creations that Brian's doing over there. You can find them all
email
over
me
the
and
Bay
harass me
Area.
about all the stuff you didn't agree with on this website because I
He
know
likes
I'll get
that.
shit.
Yeah, pick out all the flaws in his logic and email them to him.
And he loves that.
Yeah, he loves it.
Not in
Yeah,
the
love
beers, in the logic.
In fact,
and by the way, Brian checks his email all the time.
yeah. In fact, go visit him.
Yeah.
Go visit the brewery. He'll give you a tour.
He's going to get right back to you, everybody.
He'll be checking tonight. Right tonight yet. He'll be out there.
In fact, he probably won't even sleep tonight.
Inflammatory
Yeah,
is
please
better.
come by the brewery. It's at 724 and 721 4th Street in Santa Rosa, California.
There you go. I think he just sent you to Vinny's place. All right, what else do we have going on here? BN Winter Brews Fest Saturday. Thank you to More Beer. Support all our sponsors. Buy merchandise. Doc's wonderful. All right, everybody.
Yeah, I am.
We'll see you next week. Cheers. Chad,
Ciao,
good job.
babies.
Thanks, man.
Out.
Give me a wheat beer on a hot summer day. A vodka will do me when the skies are gray. I'll take a Belgian brew anytime, and the women think that lambic's fine. But don't you give me that American crude, boys, I want a real home brew. Home brew, don't you really love it that a home brew? Can't get enough of it. Home brew, it blows my mind. I love home brew all of the time. Yeah, I think I'll have me, well, I'm the one right now. my mind.